Chapter 1200. The sacred transformation pond was a strange place. It hung upside down in the sky, reflecting countless stars to form a galaxy. The power of the stars fell into the space through the sacred transformation pond, helping people to temper their bodies and comprehend the power of the stars. Over the years, the sacred transformation pond had helped countless geniuses of the human clan achieve extraordinary achievements. As an invincible emperor, Yang Wu had broken through to the star rune realm first. Standing in this world, he could feel it very deeply. The power of the stars fell on his body, cleaning some of the extremely fine impurities in his body again. Yang Wu's body was comparable to the high-level saint realm, but there were still some impurities that could not be detected. Many geniuses persevered, and their bodies rapidly transformed to the half-step saint realm, or even the saint realm. They were overjoyed. As long as they clenched their teeth and persevered, it would be easy for them to refine a powerful saint realm. No wonder the sacred transformation pond was the highest secret of the human clan to become a saint. It was not a lie. Some of the weaker geniuses could not hold on for long and could not bear it anymore. Damn it, my body has just transformed into a half-step saint. I can't bear it anymore. I really don't want to leave like this. The power of the stars forcibly poured into my body. It's too abnormal. I almost became a saint. Clench my teeth and persevere. I want to break through the limit. The wills of the geniuses here were extraordinary. They endured the pain of their bodies being torn apart and endured the baptism of the stars. Some people could not bear it and crushed the jade tube to be teleported out. Some still persevered until the end, but unfortunately, they were crushed by the merciless power of the stars. Many geniuses saw the dead geniuses and felt a lingering fear. They were all thinking that once they reached the limit, they would leave immediately. No matter how good the opportunity was, it was futile if they did not have the life to enjoy it. In less than an hour after the sacred transformation pond opened, more than a dozen people had been teleported out of here. At this moment, Yang Wu had reached the 9th lotus platform. He did not stop and continued to go up. On the 10th platform, he met the two brothers, Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao, who were the golden boys of Kunlun. These two brothers were both extraordinarily handsome and had extraordinary temperaments. Their bodies flickered with golden light as if a golden dragon was being nurtured in their bodies. Their strength had reached the half-step saint realm. When they saw Yang Wu step forward, Jin Yuchen smiled and said, "Saint Master Yang Wu, long time no see." Jin Yuchen had met Yang Wu in the Apothecary Alliance. Yang Wu looked at him and nodded. Long time no see. After he finished speaking, he had already landed on the 10th lotus platform. Jin Yuhao was like a golden dragon waking up. He glared at Yang Wu and shouted, "This is not a place you should be. Get out of here." In the next moment, he was about to attack Yang Wu, but his elder brother pressed down on his arm and said, "Brother, don't be rude to Saint Master Yang Wu. Brother, we are invincible together. Even Koan Mingzi has to be polite when he sees us. There is no need to be afraid of him," Jin Yuhao replied. Jin Yuchen ignored Jin Yuhao. Instead, he cupped his hands and said to Yang Wu, "My brother is young and impetuous. Saint Master Yang Wu, please forgive him. You go first." The two of them were enduring the astral energy to temper their bodies. If they fought, they might not be able to withstand the astral energy's suppression. Yang Wu replied calmly, "It's not wrong to be young and impetuous. What's wrong is to be too conceited." After he finished speaking, he walked past the two brothers and headed towards the 11th lotus platform. With every lotus platform he ascended, he had to withstand more astral energy. However, Yang Wu seemed to be walking on flat ground. He was extremely relaxed. Although the astral energy here is powerful, I need to reach at least 30 lotus platforms to feel any pressure. Yang Wu estimated in his heart. Therefore, he no longer dared to delay and quickly rushed toward the higher lotus platforms. His body was like a flood dragon. His movements were very fast as he rushed past 10 lotus platforms and caught up with the first Hall King, who was on the 20th lotus platform. The first Hall King looked at Yang Wu and said indifferently, "I didn't expect you to have also broken through to the Celestial Rune Realm." Yang Wu looked at the first Hall King and said, "I was just lucky." Yang Wu ignored the first Hall King and continued toward the 21st lotus platform. The first Hall King looked at Yang Wu's back and muttered, "Are the disciples nurtured by the heavenly palace this strong?" In the next moment, the first Hall King also rushed forward to catch up. At this moment, the one who reached the highest position was Jin Qiu. He had already stepped onto the 33rd platform. How terrifying was the astral energy this position had to withstand. Even a high-level saint's body would be squeezed until it exploded. After reaching this platform, Jin Qiu finally sat down cross-legged and absorbed the astral energy here to temper his physique. Below him was Xianyuan Huowu. This girl had also stepped onto the 31st platform. This was already her limit. Yang Wu didn't want to waste too much time. There was no one obstructing him from the lotus platforms behind him. He quickly rushed to the 30th platform. The pressure here was 300 times more terrifying than the one below. Only a peak middle-level saint could barely withstand it. Yang Wu clearly felt some pressure, but it was still within the range of what he could bear. Yang Wu raised his head and muttered to the lotus platforms above him, "If you work hard and reach the platform, the benefits will be even greater." Yang Wu stepped onto the 31st lotus platform. Xianyuan Huowu was sitting there cross-legged. "Little Wu, do you have the heart to surpass me?" Xianyuan Huowu lightly gritted her teeth and revealed a pitiful expression. Yang Wu's body shivered and he laughed. "Your Highness, don't scare me like this. My hair is standing on end. Goodbye." In the next moment, he went even higher. "Little Wu, just you wait. I will definitely catch up to you." Xianyuan Huowu exclaimed as she looked at Yang Wu, who had surpassed her. The two of them had established a friendship in the God of War Pagoda. Both of them had reached the 12th level of the God of War Pagoda. One was the Dragon Emperor of the Heavenly Dragon ranking, while the other was the Emperor Phoenix of the Heavenly Phoenix ranking. In the eyes of others, they looked like a golden boy and a jade girl. Unfortunately, they weren't. Yang Wu had surpassed Jin Qiu. Jin Qiu smiled and said, "You are now qualified to fight with me." Yang Wu smiled disapprovingly and continued to climb with difficulty. After reaching the 33rd level, Yang Wu was still able to withstand the pressure of a high-level saint. His physique was truly extraordinary. Yang Wu reached the 49th level in one go. Only then did he sit cross-legged on the lotus platform and cultivate while panting. "Too terrifying. I feel like a star is pressing down on my shoulder. If I continue to challenge it, I will definitely be crushed," Yang Wu said in shock. When the people below saw Yang Wu's magnificent feat, they were completely shocked. Even an ordinary peak saint might not be able to reach the 49th level of the lotus platform. Yang Wu had actually done it. Truly abnormal. As expected of the invincible emperor, Yang Wu reached the highest position, followed by Jin Qiu, Xianyuan Huowu, and Kuan Mingzi. He also reached the 30th level, which surprised everyone. Jiang Ping reached the 29th level. When Yu Yu was about to reach the 29th level, this guy provoked Yu Yu, forcing her to fight with him. Yu Yu had only cultivated for a short period of time, so she was forced to retreat to the 28th level. Xuanyuan's three lords, Chao Jifei, Little Man, and Sun Do all reached the 20th level and above. The majority of people stopped at the 10th level and below. When Yang Wu sat cross-legged on the 49th level, 1/3 of the people had already been transported out of the sacred transformation pond. The others could temporarily stay behind to receive the star energies tempering. Yang Wu's senses were even clearer. He was enveloped by the star energy. Strands of star energy squeezed into his body, completely removing the impurities on his body. If he couldn't accept this process, his flesh would be crushed. Even his organs and bones would be crushed, ultimately leading to death. Yang Wu had achieved the sacred dragon physique, and reached the 3rd level of the celestial rune realm. Although the pressure made him feel pain, it was still within the range that he could endure. He looked inside his body and discovered that his body was undergoing earth-shattering changes. My flesh has become tougher. Every part of my body has been compressed to become more solid and valiant. After the star energy poured into all my acupoints, they became even more terrifying. Especially the places where I activated my innate talent, they became even more powerful. Yang Wu exclaimed in his heart. He finally knew the miraculous secret of the sacred transformation pond. He didn't have time to think too much. He circulated the regal 9 profound arts and crazily absorbed the energy. His temperament crazily rose. A faintly discernible star trace appeared between his divine court and Dantian. Once this star trace was condensed, he would reach the 4th level of the celestial rune realm. In the past, Yang Wu would compress his energy and break through after reaching the limit. This time, he didn't need to compress at all. Under the boundless star energy's pressure, his body became even more abnormal. It completely surpassed the limit and became even more perfect. 4 star traces appeared, and he instantly broke through to the intermediate level of the Saint realm. After reaching the celestial rune realm, if one wanted to increase their strength by 1 level, they would need to accumulate a boundless amount of energy. And here, there was an astonishing amount of star energy that satisfied the requirements of any saint. As long as one had enough devouring speed, it would be enough. Others weren't as abnormal as Yang Wu. The amount of star energy he could refine was 1,000 times more than others. This was a terrifying number. When he broke through to the 4th level of the celestial rune realm, the pressure on the 49 lotus platforms lessened. Once again, he stood up and went up. Stepping on the 49 lotus platforms was already the highest achievement in 10,000 years. If the heaven-reaching old monster in the outside world knew about this, he would definitely be shocked. At this moment, someone below shouted in pleasant surprise, "Haha, I broke through to the celestial rune realm." When his voice fell, the descending star energy became incomparably terrifying. This was a large increase in strength caused by his breakthrough. He couldn't bear it at all and had no choice but to retreat. There were many people in the same situation as him. When they broke through, they attracted a large amount of star energy. Their mystic arts weren't converted fast enough, and they were uncomfortable under the pressure of the star energy. If they didn't retreat, they would die without a doubt. In just 4 hours, half of the people here were gone. In addition, there were also people like Yang Wu who could continue to go up after breaking through. That was Tang Xiaohan from Mount Amei. "Yang Wu, I will definitely surpass you. In the future, you will definitely regret your decision." Chapter 1201. Tang Xiaohan was only at the mid-level dragon transformation realm. There was still a large gap between her and the other prodigies. However, she was able to withstand the crushing power of the stars. Her strength soared, and she quickly reached the peak dragon transformation realm. She had only increased her strength by absorbing some of the star energy. She was unable to draw in more star energy, so the pressure she was under was the least. Of course, the fact that she was able to remain here without being crushed had a lot to do with the secret on her body. Tang Xiaohan headed for the first lotus platform. She didn't expect to catch up to Yang Wu immediately, but she definitely didn't want to fall too far behind him. In the future, she still wanted to kill Yang Wu, this heartless man. Yang Wu naturally didn't know that Tang Xiaohan already hated him to the bone. He had already arrived in front of the 55 lotus platforms, and once again endured the crushing pressure of the boundless star energy. The density of his body shrank, and his figure seemed to have shrunk by a notch. His bones emitted popping sounds, as if they would break at any moment, and blood even seeped out from his flesh. "I can't continue. I have to refine and absorb the star energy," Yang Wu murmured. He sat down again to absorb the star energy. The star energy was crushing his body. That kind of extreme pain was not something an ordinary person could endure. He had the undying physique, which allowed him to recover on his own. Just this point alone made him incomparable to other prodigies. The power of the 4 star patterns flickered as a large amount of star power entered his body. The immortal immortality peach tree grew at a crazy speed. It had broken away from its original green sprout form and assumed the form of a young peach tree. This young peach tree was shrouded in immortal light, like a dragon and a phoenix. The star energy that was poured into it formed specks of starlight, which eventually condensed into drops of immortal liquid, making it seem even more sacred. As the young peach tree grew, the star energy hanging in the Saint Pond shone down on Yang Wu, forming a river of stars. That terrifying pressure frightened Yang Wu. "It's over!" Yang Wu involuntarily cried out. He had originally thought that he would be able to reach the 81st Lotus platform. Who would have thought that he would attract such a terrifying amount of star energy when he reached the 55th Lotus platform? How could he endure it? The prodigies below him were all affected by this energy, and they all involuntarily cried out, "Damn it, how did the star energy become so terrifying? I can't hold on any longer. It wasn't easy for me to condense a star rune. I don't want to leave like this. Not good, it'll be too late if we don't leave now." These geniuses all cherished their own lives. Even though this place could greatly shorten their cultivation time, they could only give up in the face of unstoppable power. Bang! Bang! Many prodigies crushed their jade tubes and quickly teleported out of this place. Tang Xiaohan had just arrived at the first Lotus platform, but before she could even sit down, she was forced to leave. But before she left, she looked up at Yang Wu's position and discovered that boundless star energy was descending on Yang Wu's head. She couldn't help but let out a carefree laugh. "Yang Wu, it's best if you die here, haha." The others also saw that a large amount of star energy was rushing towards Yang Wu. If Yang Wu didn't leave, he would really die. "Husband, leave quickly!" Yu loudly shouted. Shu Yujun also looked at Yang Wu worriedly from the 9th Lotus platform. In the end, she rationally chose to leave first. She firmly believed that Yang Wu would also leave immediately. Just like this, other than Yang Wu, the other prodigies crushed their cylinders and moved out of the Saint Pond. None of the prodigies dared to be careless. Even the top-notch Jinxiu and Great Hall King ran as fast as they could. The power of a star river was simply terrifying. Outside the Saint Transformation Pool, the heavenly Grandmaster Old Monsters looked at the Sky Prides coming out one after another with astonishment. This batch of prodigies is even stronger than the previous batch. Why did they come out so quickly? It hasn't even been 3 days, right? Could it be that their endurance is worse than the previous batches? Even the most promising seed prodigies have come out. What's going on? The heaven-reaching old monsters were shocked. They asked the prodigies one after another, trying to figure out what happened to the Saint Pond. When these heavens prides answered, they also felt a bit strange. The sacred transformation pond was a holy land set up for overlord-level characters. The transformation of the astral energy was very orderly, and it was impossible for a large-scale astral energy to crush down at the same time. Was there something wrong with the sacred transformation pond? "Where's the Lord?" White-haired Demonis asked Yang Ba. "The Lord hasn't come out yet. Could it be that he's still resisting?" Yang Ba revealed a worried expression. "The Lord will definitely be fine. Maybe he'll come out soon," Su Chu said. So, they all waited for Yang Wu to come out. In the end, after half a day, Yang Wu still didn't come out. The heaven-reaching old monsters also noticed the strange situation. Most of the prodigies had come out, but the jade tubes that didn't come out had shattered, which meant that they had died inside. But Yang Wu's jade tube didn't shatter, but he didn't come out. They suspected that Yang Wu was still inside receiving the inheritance. No matter if they were sure or not, they couldn't interfere with the Saint Pond's rules. They couldn't go in to check. Everything would stop when Yang Wu's jade tube shattered. The white-haired youth muttered, "Looks like that little guy did something shocking again." Many prodigies realized that the heaven-reaching old monsters didn't have any intention of closing the Saint Pond. They were completely shocked. Could it be that Yang Wu can still withstand the crushing power of the stars? Impossible. Even a peak-level saint wouldn't be able to withstand it. That's the power of an entire galaxy. Those lords didn't seal the Saint Pond, which means that there are still people inside. Who else could it be other than Yang Wu? How did he do it? Inside the Saint Pond, Yang Wu didn't shatter the jade tube. It was the immortal peach tree that sent him a message. "Master, don't worry. This is the power I need. I will block it for you." A baby-like voice rang out in Yang Wu's mind. If it wasn't for this voice, Yang Wu would have already shattered the jade tube and fled as fast as he could. The immortal peach tree had become a spirit. How old was it? It had already condensed a spirit. No wonder it was the one and only longevity immortal tree. The power of the galaxy above the Saint Pond gathered, and the immortal peach tree appeared from Yang Wu's body. A majestic suction force was generated, crazily refining and devouring the power of the stars. "Master, you can go to the highest lotus platform. It's easier to accept the power there," the immortal peach tree said. Yang Wu was stunned for a moment. Then, he quickly flew toward the highest lotus platform. This lotus platform was much smaller than the other lotus platforms. It could only accommodate one person sitting cross-legged. The other lotus platforms were much bigger than this one. However, this lotus platform was much more noble than the other lotus platforms. It was made of top-grade Saint Jade. Only monstrous geniuses at the supremacy level were qualified to sit here. Boundless astral powers moved along with Yang Wu, and a large amount of astral powers descended. The immortal immortality peach tree spirit continued to absorb the astral powers at a frenzied pace. It continued to grow. More and more branches grew out, and leaves grew out as well. Every leaf was like a star, imbued with an incomparably shocking and mysterious might. Yang Wu was completely shocked when he sensed the changes of the immortal peach tree. What kind of law is this imprinted power? Yang Wu thought to himself. The immortal peach tree seemed to sense Yang Wu's question. It took the initiative to explain. This is the law of the stars. It can create the celestial path of the stars. Celestial path of the stars? Celestial path of the stars? Yang Wu was confused. He did not understand at all. He had never heard of this concept before. Even little Hay had never told him about it. "Master, you should absorb the power of the stars first. Once you reach a certain level, you will naturally understand," the immortal peach tree said. Yang Wu came back to his senses and nodded. Then, he said, "Shao Man, can you absorb the power of the stars here?" The sacred mandala flower said weakly, "In front of the immortal peach tree, I do not dare to be presumptuous." She was the most evil plant. She was extremely arrogant. In front of the immortal peach tree, she had no confidence at all. "Absorb it. You won't be able to absorb much anyway. If you can imprint a trace of the great Tao, you will become even more powerful. Unfortunately, this is only a man-made land of stars," the immortal peach tree replied. "Thank you, immortal peach tree," the sacred mandala flower said happily. Then, she emerged from Yang Wu's body and turned into a shocking sacred mandala flower. She began to devour the power of the stars. Most of the power of the stars here was absorbed and blocked by the immortal peach tree. It would not cause any harm to her or Yang Wu. This is a man-made land? Yang Wu was shocked. "Yes. I am only borrowing the power of the stars here. It is not the real power of the stars. Master, when you reach the immortal peach tree, I hope you can enter the stars to cultivate. That way I can grow faster," the immortal peach tree replied. Then it said, "Let's not talk about it anymore. The power here is limited. I will finish absorbing as soon as possible." Master, you should also experience it. It will be beneficial for you. The immortal peach tree completely opened up and absorbed the power of the stars. Yang Wu did not dare to ask any more questions. He sat down cross-legged and activated the Supreme Nine Mysteries formula. He was also absorbing the power of the stars crazily. The fourth line of stars became thicker and stronger, and its power increased. Soon, the fifth line of stars appeared. Such a breakthrough speed was not any slower than when he had obtained the underworld mysterious essence Qi. At the same time, Yang Wu was multitasking. He was observing the changes in the stars as well as the mysterious lines imprinted on the leaves of the immortal peach tree. The incantation of the star-swallowing sword skill appeared in his spirit sea. The star-swallowing sword skill corresponds to the power of the stars. Maybe I can get a surprise by cultivating it here, Yang Wu muttered to himself. Then, his battle soul began to cultivate this battle skill. Chapter 1202. Star-Swallowing Sword Technique. First move, Split World. Second move, Destroy Stars. Third move, Destroy the Galaxy. Fourth move, Devour the Starry Sky. Fifth move, Great Chaos Vital Essence. This was a powerful sword technique that Yang Wu had obtained after his bloodline awakened. It was at least a divine-level sword technique. Yang Wu had condensed the heart of the sword, and then stepped into the black tortoise sword Dao from the heart of the sword. His grasp of this sword skill was getting stronger and stronger, but he was still unable to cultivate the battle skill to a perfect state. This was a divine technique that could only be cultivated after reaching the pinnacle saint realm. Now that Yang Wu had entered the intermediate saint realm, he was not even afraid of a pinnacle saint. It would not be difficult for him to cultivate the last two moves of the star-swallowing sword technique. Moreover, the galaxy gathered here and the starlight kept falling. It was the best place to cultivate the star-swallowing sword technique. How could he let it go? Yang Wu's fighting soul kept practicing. Strands of star power were driven by him. It was as if the stars in the galaxy were moving with his sword. The star-swallowing sword technique could devour the starry sky with one move. This was a place with a galaxy. If one wanted to devour the starry sky with one move, how powerful would one need to be? There were countless star powers here. With the help of these star powers, one could devour the power of the starry sky. Yang Wu stabbed out again and again. Many star powers were driven. The Supreme Nine Mysteries formula unleashed a power that was 1,000 times stronger than before. The movement caused by it was getting bigger and bigger. Thousands of stars appeared in his mind. There was a galaxy that was pierced by a ray of sword Qi. In the end, it formed a terrifying devouring power. The fourth move, Devour the Starry Sky, was finally comprehended. At the same time, Yang Wu had a new sword principle. It was called the Star-Swallowing Sword Principle. There were 3,000 great Daos and thousands of minor Dao. The sword Dao was one of the 3,000 great Daos, and it could evolve into countless other sword Daos, which were also known as minor Dao. The black tortoise sword Dao and the star-devouring sword Dao did not conflict. They were both a type of sword Dao and their powers were different. Yang Wu originally wanted to cultivate his own sword principle with the star-swallowing sword technique. However, he could not cultivate it to the great realm. Instead, he used the power of his bloodline, the Big Dipper sword, and the power of the sword heart to form his own black tortoise sword principle. The black tortoise was the Yang family's totem, and it was one of the easiest great Daos. Now that he had mastered the star-swallowing sword Dao, he was able to unleash the power of the star-swallowing sword technique. At this time, the Big Dipper sword appeared in his hand, and he swung it again and again. Thousands of sword energies fell down like the energy of the stars, containing an extremely terrifying power. With his current strength, there was no need for him to fear any saint-level beings. If he went all out, he could even slaughter a half-step heaven-span cultivator. When he stopped, The power of the stars that filled the sky had already disappeared. What's going on? Yang Wu was stunned. The star-swallowing sword principle above the Saint Pond dimmed. The immortal immortality peach tree said, the accumulated star-swallowing sword principle has disappeared. It needs to be dormant for a while before it can appear again. Yang Wu's face twitched. He did not expect the immortal immortality peach tree to be so powerful. It had swallowed all the star-swallowing sword principle. If the heaven-reaching elder found out about this, he wondered if he would be skinned alive. Master, when you break through to the Jade Moon Realm, you must go to the star-swallowing sword principle, the immortal immortality peach tree pleaded. Yang Wu nodded and said, don't worry. If that day comes, I will go to the star-swallowing sword principle. Yang Wu knew from the Wudong's supreme protector that the transcendent realm was only one of the realms of Earth Star. There were higher realms. He still had a long way to go. Even though he had reached the level 5 celestial rune realm, he did not dare to say that he was invincible among saints. It was better to keep a low profile. However, he had gained a lot from this trip. Not only had the immortal immortality peach tree grown, but it had also condensed a lot of immortal dew. Before this, he was worried that he would run out of immortal dew. He could only use it sparingly and concoct some immortal dew for himself and others. Now, he did not need to worry about that anymore. As long as he was happy, he could give a drop of immortal dew to his people. At this moment, he also understood that Little Hay was not lying when she said that she had bathed in immortal dew. He felt that he would soon have the right to do so. As for what to do with the immortal immortality peach tree, he believed that he would have a solution after he went out. He was in a good mood. He crushed the jade tube and left. Whoosh! Yang Wu disappeared from the sacred transformation pond and reappeared outside the sacred transformation mountain. When he came out, many gazes looked at him. When Yang Wu felt these gazes, he touched his face and said, "Could it be that I've become more handsome? My lord, I've noticed that your skin has become thicker." Lu Ji's voice rang out from nearby. "I feel that boss has become more handsome," Miao Miao said honestly. Indeed, after Yang Wu had been tempered by the power of the stars, his saint body had become even more abnormal. Now, even a high-grade saint weapon would not be able to harm him. He was already comparable to a peak saint. For Yang Wu to be able to reach this step, it was inseparable from the fact that he had obtained several kinds of mysterious essence qi. His Regal 9 Mysteries formula was getting more and more powerful, and his stamina was also getting stronger and stronger, leaving his peers far behind. Ba, the last young benefactor has come out. The sacred transformation pond will end here. The old monk of the Shaolin Temple clasped his hands and said. The other old monsters also withdrew their power. The crack in the sky closed up, and the sacred transformation pond could no longer be seen. The other geniuses all revealed looks of pity. They felt that if they could stay in the sacred transformation pond for a while, they would definitely gain more. "Master, he's Yang Wu." Tang Xiaohan stayed beside an incomparably sharp middle-aged woman and pointed at Yang Wu. "He has a good appearance, but unfortunately, he's just a heartless man. Master will teach him a lesson for you," the middle-aged woman said coldly. She flicked her finger and a sword energy shot towards Yang Wu. No one would have thought that a heaven-reaching realm character would suddenly attack Yang Wu. Yang Wu was even more surprised. He could not sense the other party's attack at all. The difference between the two was too great. Just as the sword energy was about to land on Yang Wu's body, another power swept out and erased the sword energy. "Miju, it's wrong of you to sneak attack a junior." A white-haired youth walked over and said faintly. "Humph, wherever you go, you have to meddle in other people's business. Don't you feel tired?" The middle-aged woman coldly snorted. "The matters of the world are managed by the people of the world. Besides, little brother Yang Wu is my old friend. It's not your turn to teach him a lesson. Hurry up and scram." the white-haired youth said without any trace of politeness. The middle-aged woman frowned. An invisible killing intent pervaded the air, as if she would draw her sword and kill at any moment. I advise you not to make a move. Even if your emotionless sword Dao has reached large success, it won't be good in front of me. Don't make a fool of yourself, the white-haired youth said. Madman, what kind of skill is bullying a woman? Be careful, or Miju will really fight you to the death. The blue-robed middle-aged man faintly said. I can fight to the death too. The white-haired youth looked at the blue-robed middle-aged man and replied. At this time, the old monk clasped his hands and said, Everyone, don't let the juniors see a joke. Come to my temple to drink a cup of tea and eat a bowl of vegetarian food. Wouldn't that be great? Old monk, keep your simple tea and plain food for yourself, said one of the heaven-reaching old monsters. Then, he stepped into the space and disappeared. I'm also leaving, another heaven-reaching old monster said. Xiaohan, let's go. The middle-aged woman glared at the white-haired youth and turned around to leave with Tang Xiaohan. Just like this, most of the heaven-reaching old monsters left. The white-haired youth said to the old monk, Honest monk, they don't give you face. I'll give you face and follow you back to Shaolin to eat vegetarian food and chant Buddhist scriptures. You madman, it's better if you don't come. Buddhist lands don't welcome bandits, the old monk said and turned around to quickly slip away. The white-haired youth said unhappily, Is this senior's reputation that bad? Didn't I just learn a few Shaolin skills? It's not like I stole them. Lu Ji, who was behind the white-haired youth, said, Shizhuan, even the monks fear you like a tiger. You have to reflect on yourself. Yes, you have to reflect on yourself. After you go back, you're forbidden from seeing Lulu for half a year. Ah, Shizhuan, I was wrong. You are the most handsome, most powerful, and most noble Shizhuan in history. You can't be so cruel. The white-haired youth was too lazy to pay attention to Lu Ji. He waved at Yang Wu and said, Yang Wu, how did you offend the old witch of Mount Amei? Yang Wu rushed over and shook his head with a bitter smile. I don't know. Maybe my Yang family and Mount Amei have some conflict. After pausing for a moment, he thought about it and said, Maybe it has something to do with her disciple. Yes, no matter what, you still have to be careful. There is no lack of geniuses these days. What we lack are geniuses who can grow. You have already reached the 5th level of the Celestial Rune Realm, and can be considered to have grown. However, when facing the Jade Moon Realm, there is still a big gap. Don't fail miserably. The white-haired youth reminded. He then said, After reaching the Celestial Rune Realm, properly comprehend the heaven and earth. Don't be in a hurry to break through. Sometimes, breaking through too quickly isn't necessarily a good thing. Yes. Yang Wu obediently agreed. The person in front of him was an expert of the transcending heaven realm. He might even be an existence that stood at the peak. He had to accept the other's kind reminder. The white-haired youth reminded Yang Wu to remember to cultivate the way of Tai Chi then. He pulled Lu Ji and quickly left. Lu Ji didn't even have time to say goodbye to Yang Wu. After these transcending heaven realm experts left, Yang Wu turned to look at the other geniuses and shouted, Kuan Mingzi, come and die. Kuan Mingzi was definitely at the top of his kill list. Wu, don't shout. Kuan Mingzi left early. Meng Bingshue's voice rang out. Yang Wu, are you challenging the dignity of Kunlun? Another voice replied to Yang Wu. Chapter 1203. The one who stood out and spoke to Yang Wu was Kunlun's golden boy, Jin Yuhao. Jin Yuhao and his elder brother, Jin Yuchen, were both on the heavenly dragon ranking, but their rankings weren't too high. They actually dared to challenge Yang Wu. This courage was truly commendable. Jin Yuchen wanted to stop Jin Yuhao, but it was already too late. He clearly understood why his younger brother was targeting Yang Wu. It was all because of Xianyuan Huowu. Yang Wu glanced at Jin Yuhao and replied indifferently, I believe many people know what Kuan Mingzi has done. I want to kill him, but it doesn't mean that I'm provoking Kunlun. He paused for a moment, then emphasized, if you insist, I don't mind. Marshal, forget it. Meng Bingxue understood Kunlun's background and hurriedly spoke out to stop Yang Wu. She then looked at Jin Yuhao and said, Junior brother Yuhao, don't bother. Yang Wu doesn't have any other intentions. Senior sister Bingxue, you're from Kunlun. Don't side with outsiders. Jin Yuhao replied, then stared at Yang Wu and said, Yang Wu, I want to challenge you. Do you dare to accept? Are you worthy? Yang Wu was stunned for a moment, then a trace of disapproval appeared on his face. Even though he could sense that Jin Yuhao had reached the celestial rune realm, he was still too weak in his eyes. Jin Yuhao felt a great humiliation. His fame wasn't as great as Kuan Mingzi's, but it didn't mean that his battle prowess was inferior to Kuan Mingzi's. Now that he had challenged Yang Wu, he was actually being looked down upon. How could he not be furious? Yang Wu, fight me if you have the guts. In the next moment, the strength of the celestial rune realm erupted from his body. A celestial rune lingered on his body like a golden dragon, devouring the formless power of the stars. It displayed an extremely powerful strength. There were 200 exceptional geniuses here who had entered the sacred transformation pool together. However, those who had broken through to the Star Mark realm could be counted on one's fingers. Jin Yuhao was the first to reach this step, which still moved the others. So mighty. If you can defeat him, I'll definitely like you. Xianyuan Huowu said with an appearance of wanting to see the world in chaos. At this time, Chao Jifei also said to Jin Yuchen, Yang Wu and I are engaged. If you like me, you have to defeat him. Otherwise, you will never have a chance in this lifetime. Jin Yuchen looked back at Chao Jifei and said, Are you serious? Do I need to lie to you about this? Chao Jifei replied calmly. Seventh Princess, Chao Jifei, don't cause trouble. Yang Wu said with a dark expression. I'm not causing trouble. If I want to find a man, I have to find someone as powerful as you. If he isn't as powerful as you, I won't take a fancy to him. Xianyuan Huowu said with an innocent face. Yang Wu, I clearly remember our agreement. Even if you go back on your words, I won't agree. Chao Jifei said resolutely and decisively. Miao Miao revealed an expression of worship as he shouted, Boss is boss. As expected of my idol. Truly too mighty. I support you in taking them all down. He had just finished speaking when tragedy struck. Chao Jifei and Xianyuan Huowu punched him in the eyes, causing him to have panda eyes. The pain caused him to cry. Woo woo! Who did I provoke? Miao Miao cried bitterly. Saint Master Yang Wu, you won't accept my little brother's challenge. Then do you have the qualifications to challenge us brothers? Jin Haochen also released the strength of a first-level celestial rune realm cultivator and challenged Yang Wu. If you want to challenge my big brother, you have to pass through this old sun first. Sun Do walked out with his broken staff and shouted. Sun Do had also broken through the celestial rune realm under the baptism of the star energy. Moreover, he had reached the second level in one go. This leap was not something that anyone could compare to. This was because when Yang Wu had attracted the star energy, Sun Do had also been the last to leave. He had a unique secret absorption technique that could absorb more star energy and help him break through quickly. Those who could borrow star energy to break through to the second level like him could be counted on one hand. With his strength, it was enough to fight Jin Haochen and Jin Haoyu. Yang Wu pulled Sun Do and said, Since so many people want to challenge me, it seems like they're not convinced. Let me deal with them. Big brother, if any random person wants to challenge you, even if you don't get beaten to death, you'll be annoyed to death. Let me deal with them for you. Sun Do replied. Yang Wu was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, It seems like what you said makes sense. He then said to Jin Haochen and Jin Haoyu, You heard it too. If you win against my brother, I'll apologize to you. How about it? Yang Wu, are you sure you want to do this? Jin Haoyu felt deeply humiliated by Yang Wu and Sun Do. They were all peak-level geniuses that had broken through to the celestial rune realm. Yang Wu was not willing to fight them personally and had someone else fight them. He was looking down on them too much. With so many people here as witnesses, there's no need for me to lie. Yang Wu rubbed his nose and said. Sun Do released the strength of a second-level celestial rune realm cultivator and shouted, "If you want to fight, then fight. Don't dawdle here. You two brothers aren't worthy of my big brother fighting." Sun Do's strength was obvious to everyone. There were many geniuses here who had lost to him in the past. After Jin Haoyu felt Sun Do's powerful aura, he didn't dare to be arrogant. He said to his big brother, "Big brother, I'll fight this battle." With that, he took the lead and charged towards Sun Do. Be careful. Jin Haochen couldn't stop his younger brother, so he could only warn him. He sighed in his heart, Yu Hao's hot-bloodedness never dies. Regardless of whether he wins or loses, this battle is very important to him. The two brothers had improved very quickly, which was why it was easy for them to become arrogant. Especially Jin Yuhao, who had become somewhat conceited. Jin Yuhao held a halberd in his hand as his body flickered with golden light. The aura of a golden dragon pervaded the air. When the halberd descended, it was as if a golden dragon was crushing towards Sun Do. It had to be said that Jin Yuhao had a reason to be conceited. He had the strength of a first-level celestial rune realm cultivator, but he could erupt with the strength of a third-level celestial rune realm cultivator. A 10,000-meter-long golden dragon shadow, containing a dense halberd intent, wreaked havoc in all directions with soaring battle intent. "I'll beat you up." Sun Do was also a battle-hungry person. He shouted and didn't use his broken staff. Instead, he punched towards Jin Yuhao with his bare hands. Golden Flame Sacred Fist. With a punch, golden flames condensed into a huge fist shadow. It carried the tyrannical power of the fist and collided with the golden dragon halberd shadow. Bang! Sun Do's strength was stronger and more tyrannical than Jin Haoyu's. With an unstoppable force, the golden dragon shattered inch by inch. After Jin Yuhao felt Sun Do's strength, he revealed an extremely shocked expression. He frantically retreated as the power of dragon scales formed on his body, condensing into a dragon scale saint robe. He entered the strongest defensive state. At the same time, he kept waving his halberd. 8 golden dragon halberd shadows blasted towards Sun Do from all directions. Dragon-shaped halberd Dao. This was Jin Yuhao's martial Dao. Its power was astonishing and domineering. Most of the Sky Prides who entered the top 100 of the Heavenly Dragon and Heavenly Phoenix leaderboards had comprehended their own martial Dao. Jin Yuhao was no exception. Unfortunately, Jin Yuhao's combat strength was slightly weaker than Sun Do's. He was forced to fight by Sun Do and couldn't gain the upper hand. Moreover, Sun Do continuously hit him, shattering his dragon scale saint robe. Sun Do's combat strength was too strong. With your strength, you dare to challenge my big brother? You don't even know how to spell the word death. Sun Do's body flashed and appeared beside Jin Yuhao, kicking Jin Yuhao away fiercely. "Ah! You forced me to do this." Jin Haoyu sprung up and roared crazily. The golden dragon aura on his body continued to rise crazily, and his battle prowess also increased rapidly. The power of the stars also became more majestic, and an ancient dragon aura was formed, giving the surrounding heavens prides a big fright. This was Jin Yuhao's unique battle chi. It was also his strongest trump card. Some Sky Prides exclaimed, "What? What kind of secret technique is this? The power displayed is too strong. It looks a bit like the Emperor's Dragon Aura technique. Could he be a descendant of some dynasty's emperor?" Another Sky Pride said. There were some ancient dynasties in the transcendent realm. Some had long been extinct in the long river of history, while some were still standing. These dynasties had astonishing origins, and their bloodline inheritance was also quite domineering. They were not inferior to the 8 great clans of the war race. The battle chi displayed by Jin Yuhao had the shadow of these dynasties. Among the 8 great war races, only the Xianyuan clan was an emperor clan. They could also display powerful emperor's aura. They didn't expect Jin Yuhao to also have such an ability. Even the Xianyuan clan was a little surprised. Suppress you. Jin Yuhao's body became a lot bigger. He raised his halberd and attacked again. A huge golden dragon descended from the sky. Its battle chi was close to the power of a mid-level saint stage cultivator. Even if you're a dragon, you still have to coil up, Sun Do roared. He finally pulled out his broken staff and swung it toward Jin Yuhao. Battle Heaven and Earth Staff. With one staff strike, heaven and earth collapse. With one staff strike, the sky lost its color. Even if Sun Do didn't transform, his power was not inferior to Jin Yuhao's. It was even stronger. Staff strike golden dragon. Bang! After the 2 powerful forces collided, wave after wave of power spread out in all directions, forcing many sky prides to retreat. The 2 of them were too powerful. Most people didn't think they could block their attack. After the 2 of them clashed in the air for a while, all of the power disappeared. A figure was sent flying while spitting out blood. It was Jin Yuhao. The dragon scale saint robe on his body had been completely shattered. There was a staff mark on his chest, which had caved in. Jin Haochen quickly rushed over and caught Jin Yuhao. He fed him a pill and said anxiously, "Brother, hang in there." Jin Yuhao said with difficulty, I won't die." After a pause, he said dejectedly, "I lost." "You lost this time. You can win next time," Jin Haochen said encouragingly. He then said, "Brother will help you get back at him." "You can't get back at him. This monk will help you get back at him." A golden figure landed beside them. Chapter 1204. No one expected someone to be standing next to Jin Haochen and Jin Haoyu. Moreover, it was a monk. When the 2 brothers saw the monk's face, they exclaimed, "Jin Qiu." Jin Qiu was an unfathomable prodigy. Some suspected that he was the reincarnation of an enlightened monk. Others suspected that he was a natural-born Buddha. In short, his battle prowess was monstrous. He was also considered the only one who could challenge Yang Wu. Jin Juezi was once suppressed by Jin Qiu in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. The first Hall King also said that if he fought Jin Qiu one-on-one, it was still unknown who would win. This showed how terrifying Jin Qiu was. Even though Yang Wu had challenged all the powerful prodigies in the last battle and displayed extraordinary battle prowess, Yang Wu still felt that Jin Qiu was a strong opponent. Jin Haochen cupped his hands and said, "Master Jin Qiu, thank you for your help. This is between us brothers, we'll deal with it ourselves." "Yes, we'll just admit defeat. It's no big deal. We don't need others to stand up for us," Jin Haoyu said proudly. Jin Qiu looked at them with a strange smile and said, "If I don't stand up for you, who will? Watch carefully." With that, he ignored the 2 brothers and stepped into the air. He looked at Yang Wu and said, "Do you dare to fight me, Yang Wu?" If it was someone else who challenged him, Yang Wu might have been indifferent. However, Jin Qiu's challenge made his battle intent boil. However, before Yang Wu could respond, Sun Do had already smashed his broken staff at Jin Qiu. "I've said it before, not just anyone can challenge my big brother," Sun Do shouted in shock. The broken staff's power was shocking. It was like a heavenly pillar that could destroy mountains and rivers. Facing this attack, Jin Qiu remained unmoved like a mountain. He slowly raised one of his palms, and a golden palm energy appeared, instantly stopping the staff light. Jin Qiu's monk robes fluttered, causing the dust around him to ripple and tumble. "Go back!" Jin Qiu snorted and pushed his palm forward. It was as if even the sky was being pushed by him. Sun Do was sent tumbling away. When the Sky Pride saw this, they were all shocked. Sun Do's battle prowess was obvious to all. Who would have thought that Jin Qiu would be able to send Sun Do flying so easily? Is this the arrival of an ancient Buddha? I didn't expect there to be such a genius in our human race. He isn't any weaker than the first Hall King or the Flower Thief. He might even be stronger. I just don't know what kind of relationship he has with the two brothers, for him to stand up for them. Sun Do was furious. Just as he was about to transform and fight again, Yang Wu appeared beside him. He pressed on his shoulder and said, "Let me fight this battle. I've been waiting for a long time." A few years ago, he already knew how powerful Jin Qiu was. When he entered the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, Jin Qiu didn't even bother to fight with him. It wasn't until the last battle that he exchanged a few blows with Jin Qiu. Today was a rare opportunity, and Yang Wu didn't want to let it go. Now that Yang Wu had reached the 5th level of the Celestial Rune Realm, his battle prowess had skyrocketed. If he still couldn't defeat Jin Qiu under such circumstances, then he wouldn't live up to his title as the Invincible Emperor. In addition, he also felt that Jin Qiu's realm wasn't any weaker than his. He really couldn't figure out what kind of fortuitous encounter Jin Qiu had to be able to undergo such a huge transformation in just a year. Could he really be the reincarnation of an ancient Buddha? "Big brother, I can handle him," Sun Do replied. "No, this battle is mine. You guys can watch from the side." Yang Wu responded and went up to Jin Qiu. The other Sky Prides held their breaths, all wanting to see if Yang Wu could still suppress Jin Qiu in this battle and keep his title as the Invincible Emperor. After the two peerless Sky Prides stood together, all the other Sky Prides retreated. The first Hall King, who hadn't left, murmured, "Let me see how far you've come." The first Hall King had an innate battle constitution and reached the 3rd level of the Celestial Rune Realm after being baptized by the power of the stars. When he entered the Saint Transformation Pond, he was already at the 1st level of the Celestial Rune Realm, so it wasn't surprising that he jumped 2 levels. With his current battle prowess, it would be difficult for him to find a worthy opponent in the mid-level Saint Realm. He could even fight a high-level Saint Realm creature. Apart from him, Jiang Ping had also reached the 3rd level of the Celestial Rune Realm. Jiang Ping hid it very well, so not everyone could sense his realm. "Yang Wu, don't embarrass our heavenly palace," Jiang Ping said loudly. Everyone knew that Yang Wu was a disciple of the heavenly palace, but they didn't know that Jiang Ping was also from the heavenly palace. At this moment, all the Sky Prides looked at Jiang Ping with astonishment, as if they were doubting the authenticity of Jiang Ping's words. "I didn't expect you to improve so quickly in just a few years," Jin Qiu said with a faint smile as he looked at Yang Wu. Yang Wu also looked at Jin Qiu and said, "That's right, I didn't expect it either." He then asked, "Why are you standing up for them? I don't think you're a warm-hearted person." "Hee, there are always people who are worth protecting," Jin Qiu replied with a smile. "It seems you have some relationship with them." "Yes, a monk doesn't lie. I do have some relationship with them." "Then can we start fighting?" "Let's fight." The two immediately started fighting. Jin Qiu was a step faster than Yang Wu, and a golden fist flew towards Yang Wu's face. The attack was as fast as lightning, making it impossible to guard against. None of the Sky Prides present could sense Jin Qiu's movements. Even the first Hall King, Jiang Ping, and Shenyuan Huowu could only see a blurry image of a fist. No one thought that Jin Qiu had launched a sneak attack. A battle between experts had already begun when they faced each other. If Yang Wu was hit, it could only mean that he had underestimated his opponent. Yang Wu tilted his head and narrowly dodged Jin Qiu's fist. However, Jin Qiu's next fist had already arrived. Yang Wu retreated like the wind, and Jin Qiu took advantage of the situation to pursue him. A crazy golden fist enveloped the area, completely sealing off Yang Wu's escape route. Vajra Fist. This was a Buddhist fist technique, and it was only a heaven skill. However, in Jin Qiu's hands, It had the power to transform something rotten into something magical, forming a fist domain. When he quickly punched out, everyone could faintly see the 5 flowing star veins on his body. Everyone's eyes widened, as if they couldn't believe that Jin Qiu was so powerful. 5 star veins realm. How did he do it? He must have obtained an ancient inheritance. Only then can he improve so quickly. His luck is too great. That's right. It's only been a year since he left the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. If he didn't use the inheritance method, he definitely wouldn't be able to improve to such a high level. However, the drawback of doing so is very obvious. Doesn't he want to enter the Jade Moon realm? Perhaps he already has a powerful sealed power, and it's only now that he's unsealed? How did Jin Qiu obtain such power? It was all his own luck. No one could be jealous of him. Furthermore, which of the geniuses who were able to stay here didn't have any luck? Aside from their own luck, the sect would also have great luck waiting for them. As long as they were willing, their strength could also increase by leaps and bounds in a short period of time. However, there would be a lot of repercussions. Only by cultivating one's own strength would there be no repercussions. Moreover, their foundation would be stronger, and their future would be brighter. Big brother, why do you think he's helping us? Jin Haoyu asked Jin Haochen. Jin Haochen muttered to himself, don't you think he's very similar to someone? Who? Our father. Impossible. After Yang Wu sensed Jin Qiu's strength, he also exclaimed in his heart, so powerful. All along, he had felt that Jin Qiu was the greatest threat. Now it was indeed so. Yang Wu didn't dare to underestimate Jin Qiu anymore, and quickly counterattacked. Martial God Fist. Yang Wu directly used his most proficient self-created battle skill. An invincible will pervaded the air, as if a war god had descended. His fist was filled with the power of no one but himself. Bang bang! The fists collided, and muffled sounds continued to ring out. 2 completely different profound qi kept splashing out. Jin Qiu's fist domain was directly destroyed by Yang Wu, and he was also forced to retreat. Bring out your full strength! Yang Wu shouted loudly, and like a human-shaped dragon, he continued to attack. The Zhenwu boxing appeared, and the power of his fist became even more terrifying. The power of 5 star patterns flickered, and each fist contained the power of the stars that could explode stars. This was the sacred transformation mountain, a place reinforced by a heaven-piercing expert. It wasn't damaged. If it was any other place, it would definitely be completely destroyed. When Yang Wu made his move, the other geniuses all felt his invincible will. That unparalleled spirit suppressed them to the point that they couldn't breathe. Yang Wu was too powerful. At the 5th star pattern realm, his combat power was not inferior to a peak saint realm creature. This was the power that suppressed his peers. Okay, you're worthy of me being serious. Jin Qiu responded with high fighting spirit. His hands formed an ancient Buddhist seal, and an ancient Buddha appeared behind him. A golden palm print suppressed Yang Wu. Akalanatha seal. A seal fell, and a terrifying aura spread out for dozens of miles, suppressing Yang Wu. Vajra lion seal. A golden lion appeared, opening its huge mouth to envelop Yang Wu. Great Freedom Buddha seal. A faintly discernible Buddha seal appeared, sealing heaven and earth, forming a prison. Jin Qiu erupted with all his strength, and Buddhist seals appeared one after another, summoning ancient Buddhas to form a Buddhist kingdom, suppressing heaven and earth. Many ancient Buddhas were happy, angry, sad, and happy, affecting heaven and earth. Many geniuses were in awe, and couldn't help but put their palms together in worship. This was the world of Buddhas and also the Tao of true Buddhas. Jin Qiu himself also transformed into a true Buddha. His entire body was majestic, and his appearance was dignified. Yang Wu knew that Jin Qiu was very powerful, but he didn't know that Jin Qiu was powerful to such an extent. The Tao of true Buddhas formed could even directly transcend gods and devils. If he didn't have an invincible will and an extremely firm heart, he would have knelt down and admitted defeat at this moment. Buddhas can transcend gods and devils, but not me. Yang Wu roared, and all his fighting spirit erupted. It was as if he had transformed into a true dragon, and also like the black tortoise. Two great spirit beast phantoms appeared, and a powerful force blasted out. Dragon Turtle Sea Turning Technique. Chapter 1205. Rumble Rumble. Yang Wu had already practiced the Dragon Turtle Sea Turning skill to perfection. With the support of the true dragon and the black tortoise, it unleashed an extremely powerful battle prowess. It was as if the world was about to be overturned. Even the imprints of many ancient Buddhas were all shattered by it. Yang Wu and Jin Qiu were engaged in an intense battle. On top of the sacred transformation mountain, images of golden Buddhas, true dragons, and black tortoise appeared one after another. They were constantly colliding with each other, forming a strange phenomenon. The two of them fought so quickly that the other geniuses couldn't catch them. Only now did they realize that the gap between them and Yang Wu and Jin Qiu was too great. In the future, they probably wouldn't even be able to raise their fighting spirit in front of these two. These were truly invincible geniuses. Yang Wu didn't expect Jin Qiu to be so powerful. If he hadn't continuously broken through in the sacred transformation pond, he would have been defeated by Jin Qiu today. Jin Qiu used many Buddhist techniques, each of which was supported by Buddhist talismans. His battle prowess was truly monstrous. However, he was even more shocked by Yang Wu's improvement. He was originally a reincarnated body, so he carried the memories and power of his previous life. After polishing his new body, he unsealed his original power and became so powerful. How could Yang Wu be as powerful as him? Could it be that Yang Wu was also a reincarnated body? Reincarnation was a great opportunity. It might not even appear once in a trillion. Jin Qiu was one of these lucky ones. He carried the memories and power of his previous life and was reincarnated. He changed his body and lived another life. If other experts wanted to continue living, they would usually seize the bodies of others. The pros and cons of this situation were very obvious. The pros and cons were that the soul will could live on in another body. The cons were that if the soul will couldn't be compatible with the body, then it would be difficult for the soul will to improve, and they would quickly die of old age. Jin Qiu was a reincarnated body, so it was completely acceptable for him to be so powerful. Yang Wu also had his own unique opportunities. Ever since he saved Little He, he had been blessed by the heavens. He relied on his undying body, able to turn danger into safety time and time again. He obtained many opportunities, becoming more and more powerful. It wasn't a coincidence that he was where he was today. The two peerless heavens favorites crazily clashed together like two meteors crashing into each other, creating countless sparks. The invisible power of the stars was attracted to them. Even the power of the stars attracted by a top-tier saint was nothing more than this. These two guys are definitely not human. That's right. How can he be so ridiculously strong? I really can't accept this. In the past, I thought that the gap between us wasn't that big. As long as I worked a little harder, I would be able to catch up. Now I feel like there's no hope at all. I can understand why Yang Wu is so strong, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to become an invincible emperor. But why is Jin Qiu also so strong? Just what is his background? These geniuses were shocked by the strength displayed by these two. They were simply too strong. It made them feel like there was a huge gap between them. Ziyu Yu, Meng Bingxue, Shu Yujun, and the others were silently cheering for Yang Wu. They didn't want Yang Wu to be defeated in this kind of situation. Jin Haochen and Jin Haoyu hoped that Jin Qiu would defeat Yang Wu and help them vent their anger. At the same time, they were also very confused. Was this person in front of them the reincarnation of their deceased father? Bang! After another tremor, Yang Wu and Jin Qiu separated from each other. Neither of them looked disheveled at all, as if they hadn't fought at all. Only their abundant battle chi made people feel that this was real. "Let's end our warm-up," Jin Xiu said with a smile. "Alright, let's decide the winner." Yang Wu nodded. "Okay, you first or me first?" Jin Xiu asked again. "I am the invincible emperor. You first." "Haha, then it would be impolite for me to refuse." Bang! The sound of bang came from the ancient Buddha. It shook heaven and earth and went straight into the depths of one's soul. This was an unstoppable sound wave attack. Yang Wu also knew how to use the boom sound, but compared to Jin Xiu, it lacked a pure Buddhist aura, and its power was weaker. The Buddha sound could destroy one's soul. If it were anyone else facing this Buddha sound, their soul would be shattered and obliterated. Yang Wu's soul power was not only strong, but his defense was also amazing. The Tao flower in the celestial court retracted and blocked the Buddha sound, so it didn't affect his soul too much. When Jin Xiu spat out those words, his figure had already disappeared. When he reappeared, his palm was furiously smashing down on Yang Wu's head. This was a fatal blow. This was also Jin Xiu's ferocious and murderous side. How could an ambitious and ruthless person who could reappear as a reincarnated person be kind? Yang Wu's reaction was very sharp. He raised one hand to block Jin Xiu's attack, while his other arm swung toward Jin Xiu. Barbaric God's arm. Now, the might of the arm of the barbarian god had undergone an overwhelming change. When it swept out, it possessed the power to sweep through an entire army. It was extremely powerful, and it also contained a strand of tomb of the god's chi. Once the strand of tomb of the god's chi invaded the bodies of living beings, it would definitely devour their vitality. Teleportation. Before Yang Wu's barbaric god's arm smashed into Jin Xiu released his innate ability. He instantly teleported to the other side of Yang Wu and swung his palm at him again. This time, Yang Wu couldn't dodge. The sacred armor on his back was hit, and his body flew out like a cannonball. Fortunately, his defensive power was strong enough to dissipate the force. Otherwise, this palm would have injured him. Jin Xiu teleported again and swung his golden palm at Yang Wu's vitals. Teleportation talent was definitely one of the top talents. It was unpredictable and impossible to guard against. Even Yang Wu was not able to detect Jin Xiu's position in the first moment. Yang Wu was hit by Jin Xiu's palm more than 10 times, and the surrounding people were stunned. Yang Wu was publicly recognized as an invincible king. Yet, he wasn't Jin Xiu's match? Yang Wu wasn't someone who would admit defeat easily. It wasn't his character to only defend and not attack. Jin Xiu's palm was stronger than the last. It was like an ancient Buddha had descended. A few more palm strikes and his black tortoise sacred armor would crack. Wind God's kick. Yang Wu twisted his body and formed a space storm. It completely disrupted Jin Xiu's rhythm. If Jin Xiu wanted to get closer, he would be hit by the storm. He would no longer be able to teleport to attack him. Jin Xiu appeared in another direction with a wishful Buddhist weapon in his hand. This was a true divine weapon. When the wishful Buddhist weapon was swung down, it carried a dense Buddhist power and crushed towards Yang Wu. This was pure wishful Buddhist power. It was a competition of true strength. Even a half-step Tongtian wouldn't dare to take it head-on. This was Jin Xiu's true battle strength. Jin Xiu had already used his divine weapon. If Yang Wu didn't use his divine weapon, only death awaited him. Let's decide the victor. Yang Wu murmured in his heart. A divine sword appeared in his hand and he slashed at Jin Xiu. World-rending. After Yang Wu comprehended the star-swallowing sword Dao, he used the star-swallowing sword technique again. The power increased by several times. With a slash, the sky was split in half. Even the ancient Buddha was cut into pieces. Jin Xiu was shocked. He finally felt a strong threat from Yang Wu. He teleported to dodge, but his shoulder was still cut by the sword chi. A large piece of flesh fell off. Star destruction. Yang Wu slashed out with his first sword. Boundless sword chi formed a terrifying sword domain that enveloped an area of several dozen kilometers. Dense sword chi rained down like rain. No one could escape from this prison of sword rain. The leader of the 7 heroes of Wu Dang, Song Qing, was shocked. He said to himself, "This is the true sword Dao." In the next moment, he entered a state of enlightenment. He grasped the direction of his formless sword Dao. The last of the 7 heroes of Wu Dang, Mo Wudi, also saw Yang Wu's exquisite sword technique. His eyes flashed with battle intent. The heart of the sword is bright. The sword chi is like a rainbow. He deserves the title of invincible. Among the 7 heroes of Wu Dang, only Song Qing had touched the edge of the sword Dao. Mo Wudi had long ago comprehended his own sword Dao. He was the strongest of the 7 heroes. Yang Wu had observed the appearance of the Milky Way and practiced the star-swallowing sword Dao. Finally, he had formed the suppression of the Golden Prison. If he didn't have the star-swallowing sword Dao, he would have to use the Dao of life and death to suppress Jin Qiu. Jin Qiu wouldn't admit defeat so easily. He shouted, "Rui Golden Body!" In the next moment, his body quickly grew taller, turning into a golden Buddha. A golden bell hovered around his body, forming the strongest defense. His combat strength also became stronger as his golden body grew bigger. He waved the jade scepter in his hand, shattering all the power of Yang Wu's sword domain. This was an invincible Buddha body. It was extremely difficult to cultivate. One had to have an extremely strong physical body to be able to withstand the power of this golden body. Before Jin Qiu became a sage, he already had a sage body. Now that he had become a sage, his sage body was even stronger. He could withstand this secret technique. However, with his current strength, he could only hold on for half an hour. So if he wanted to defeat Yang Wu, he had to end the battle quickly. "Yang Wu, you're strong enough to force me to this point. But you're still going to lose." Jin Qiu roared. His teleportation talent reappeared. When he reappeared, the Rui Jade was already above Yang Wu's head. Under this attack, Yang Wu's head would definitely explode. This Rui Jade was a true divine weapon. At this critical moment, Yang Wu's attack method underwent a great change. A thunder and lightning aura flashed, and boundless thunder and lightning formed an electric fork that wreaked havoc and bombarded the area, blocking the attack of Jin Qiu. "You can't stop it." Jin Qiu's physical body was extremely strong. He ignored the damage caused by the electric forks and continued to wave them down. He wouldn't give Yang Wu any chance. While Yang Wu was dodging Jin Qiu's attack, a soul needle suddenly shot out from the celestial court. Demonic needle. This was a demonic needle. With the help of soul power, it quickly pierced out. Even Elder Tongtian couldn't detect its existence. Jin Qiu had miscalculated. Chapter 1206. Jin Qiu was defeated. When his soul was pierced by the demonic shadow needle, his screams echoed in all directions. Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao were frightened. They rushed out and rushed towards Yang Wu shouting, "Have mercy!" It didn't matter if Jin Qiu was their father's reborn body. They felt close to Jin Qiu and didn't want him to die. Jin Qiu didn't die so easily. Even though his soul was pierced by the demonic shadow needle, he used his powerful soul to send the needle flying. He wasn't killed. His wishful diamond body quickly shrank and his aura dropped. He didn't have the strength he had before. He smiled with satisfaction and said, "This battle was really satisfying." "You've lost." Yang Wu pointed at Jin Qiu with the Big Dipper sword. If he could kill Jin Qiu with one strike. But if Jin Qiu wanted to escape, he might be able to. His talent for teleportation was unparalleled. No one could compare. "Yes, I accept my defeat wholeheartedly." Jin Qiu sighed and said to Yang Wu, "I have a presumptuous request. I hope you can agree to it." "Speak," Yang Wu said calmly. Even though Jin Qiu was defeated, Yang Wu didn't treat him as a defeated opponent. He was an opponent worthy of respect. They offended you. Let them be your followers for 100 years. Jin Xiu pointed at Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao. Yang Wu was stunned. Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao were also stunned. Why should Jin Xiu make the decision for them? Who are you? Jin Yuchen stared at Jin Xiu and asked. I am the person who named you too, Jin Xiu said seriously. Jin Xiu said very seriously. Then, he revealed a look of reminiscence and sighed softly. I chose Chen and Hao because I hoped that you two brothers could become emperors and become the overlords of the vast universe. You did not disappoint me, but you still lack a bit of tempering. Following Yang Wu for 100 years will only bring you benefits and no harm. Perhaps you can become nobles and not disappoint me. You really are my father? Jin Yuchen asked in a trembling voice. Impossible, Jin Yuhao said in disbelief. Yang Wu didn't want to get involved in other people's family matters. He said to them, this matter is over. You guys take your time talking. After that, he quickly flew toward Ziyuyu, Meng Bingxue and Shu Yujun. Husband, are you all right? Ziyuyu went up to him and asked. I'm fine. Yang Wu replied. Then, he glanced at Lei Beibei, who was not far away from Yu, and asked Yu, do you still want to return to Purple Firmament Hall? And I have to go back. I don't want to cause trouble for you. When you reach the Jade Moon Realm, you can come find me again, okay? Purple Yu said with a guilty expression. They had all reached the Star Rune Realm, but they still couldn't control their own fates. It was truly a sad thing. This time, Yang Wu's state of mind was incomparably calm. He held Ziyuyu's hand and said seriously, all right, don't worry. It won't be long before I go to Purple Firmament Hall to welcome you back. In just a short year, he had broken through to the 5th level Star Rune Realm. Was he still far from the Jade Moon Realm? As long as he found another type of mysterious essence chi, he firmly believed that he could break through to the Jade Moon Realm in a few years. At that time, he would go to Purple Firmament Hall and marry Ziyu. He believed that the people of Purple Firmament Hall wouldn't dare say a word. After experiencing so many things, Yang Wu had matured a lot. He was no longer an impulsive youth. Ziyu felt Yang Wu's confidence and also sensed that Yang Wu was different from before. She revealed a gratified smile and said, Husband, I will definitely wait for you. No matter who it is, they won't make me yield. After she finished speaking, she hugged Yang Wu and left with Lei Beibei and the other people of Purple Firmament Hall. Before she left, Yang Wu gave her a drop of true immortal liquid and reminded her of its use. Yang Wu firmly believed that Ziyu would become stronger with the help of this drop of immortal liquid. Now, Ziyu had reached the 2nd level Star Rune Realm, the same realm as Sundo. After Ziyu left, Yang Wu wanted to take his people and leave. Who knew that Jin Xiu would bring Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao over? Yang Wu, they are willing to follow you for 100 years. Will you accept them? Jin Xiu looked at Yang Wu and asked. These were all top geniuses. No one was willing to submit to anyone. If Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao were to follow Yang Wu for 100 years, it would be a huge stain on their reputation. Unless they were willing to follow Yang Wu and take it as an honor, they could ignore all of this. Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao didn't say anything. Their expressions weren't very good. They were still very resistant in their hearts. Brother Jin Xiu, why are you doing this? Isn't it better for them to follow you? Yang Wu asked back. Purely because I think highly of you. If they follow me, they will be affected by my fate. Their future growth will be limited. Jin Xiu replied sincerely. He paused for a moment and said, If you agree to accept them, I will give you this secret map. It has something to do with your heavenly palace. After saying this, a broken ancient map appeared in Jin Xiu's hands. Yang Wu frowned. He didn't immediately take the map. He looked at Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao and asked, Are you sure you want to listen to him? The two brothers looked at each other and then nodded at Yang Wu. They agreed with Jin Qiu's decision. Okay, you will follow me for 100 years, but you must listen to me. If you don't want to listen to me, then let's just forget about it. I don't accept disloyal people, Yang Wu said decisively. Don't worry, they will listen to you. After 100 years, I will take them away. Jin Qiu said this and handed the broken map to Yang Wu. Then he turned and left. Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao looked at Jin Qiu as he left. Their eyes were filled with reluctance. They were sure that Jin Qiu was their reincarnated father. They really couldn't understand what their father was thinking. Although Yang Wu was very strong and had a bright future, he wouldn't be of much help to them. Moreover, Yang Wu had a lot of enemies. It was hard to say whether he would die early. Now, they were disciples of a Kunlun Jade Moon expert. They could also get a lot of cultivation resources. It was much better than following Yang Wu. I know you don't want to follow me. But since you have agreed to Jin Qiu's arrangement, then listen to me. I won't make things difficult for you. I also ask that you don't make things difficult for me. 100 years is not short, but it's not long either. Maybe one day you won't regret your decision. Yang Wu looked at the two brothers and said faintly. Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao didn't answer Yang Wu. They needed some time to slowly digest this fact. One of them liked Chao Jifei, while the other liked Xianyuan Houwu. Both of them were proud daughters of the heavens. Their standards for choosing a partner were very high. Now that they had become Yang Wu's followers, their chances were very slim. Bingxue, do you still want to return to Kunlun? Yang Wu asked Meng Bingxue. Meng Bingxue revealed a trace of sadness and said, I want to walk around. I won't go back for the time being. After the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, she returned to Kunlun. Unfortunately, the sect's attitude towards her had completely changed. Some people advised her to marry Kuan Mingzi. Otherwise, she should stay away from Yang Wu. Some people advised her to shake hands with Kuan Mingzi and let bygones be bygones. Even her master and relatives said the same. She felt incomparably sad. Kuan Mingzi was clearly a bad person. He was the one who hurt her. Everyone was on his side. She really didn't understand what was wrong with the sect. Then come with me, Yang Wu said with a trace of pity. Meng Bingxue shook her head and said, There is no use for me to stay by your side. I want to become stronger. I don't want to be left behind by you. When I am tired one day, I will return to your side. At that time, will you still take me in? Yang Wu's heart clenched. He stroked Meng Bingxue's cheek and said, You protected me in the past. I have decided that when I am strong enough, I will protect you for the rest of my life. This will never change. Meng Bingxue smiled with tears flowing down her face and said, Yes, this is what you said. Pinky promise will never change for 100 years. Yang Wu and Meng Bingxue pinky promise. Then, he watched Meng Bingxue leave alone. Yang Wu didn't feel good. This was his woman. She was wronged, but he couldn't help her. He hated himself for being useless. Bingxue, just you wait. One day, I will bring you back to Kunlun and get justice for you. After Meng Bingxue left, Shu Yujun saw that Yang Wu was in a bad mood. She held his hand and said, Don't be sad. They will only be separated from you temporarily. In the future, they will meet again. Yang Wu smiled bitterly and said, I just feel that I'm useless. Then, he looked at Shu Yujun and said sincerely, Yujun, I am sorry. I have wronged you. Idiot, I am willing to do all of this. Shu Yujun smiled. Alright, we should go. Yang Wu held her hand and said. Just as they were about to leave the sacred transformation mountain, an old voice rang out, Little man, you really made me look for you. After Little man heard this voice, she couldn't help but shrink behind Yang Wu. Her eyes revealed a complicated expression, as if she was afraid to see who it was. Suddenly, an old figure appeared in front of Yang Wu and the others. It was an old woman. She bent her body and held a walking stick. She walked very slowly, but in reality, her body was constantly changing. In the blink of an eye, she appeared in front of Yang Wu and the others. Senior, you are. Yang Wu couldn't see the old woman's cultivation, so he cupped his hands and greeted her. Without waiting for him to finish, the old woman interrupted him and said, "Little man, my disciple, why aren't you coming with your master? What are you waiting for?" Little man timidly walked out and said, "Greetings, master. I don't want to go with you. Is that okay?" "Is it because of him?" The old woman looked at Yang Wu and asked. Little man lightly nodded. She was about to speak when the old woman made a move against Yang Wu. "He is not worthy of you." Chapter 1207. No one had expected an old woman to suddenly appear and attack. Even Yang Wu didn't have a chance to react before he was captured. Who was Yang Wu? He was an invincible emperor, and he was now a level 5 celestial saint. With all kinds of trump cards, he could even kill a half-step Tongtian expert. Now, he was just an ant in the old woman's hands. It was obvious how strong this old woman was. "Let go of Big Brother, master!" Sun Do, Yang Ba, and the others cried out and attacked the old woman. Unfortunately, before their attacks could land on the old woman, an invisible power fell on them, and they spat out blood and rolled away. "Little man, if you don't come with me, I'll kill them." The old woman looked at the little man and said stubbornly, "Master, let go of the young master." "I'll go with you. I'll go with you," the little man cried. She didn't want anything to happen to Yang Wu. Yang Wu felt very sullen. The old woman in front of him was definitely a Tongtian expert. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to capture him so easily. It was one thing for him to be captured, but she also hurt his brother. He couldn't take this lying down. "I don't care who you are. Don't even think about taking little man away today," Yang Wu roared. In the next moment, the heavenly thunder bone all over his body vibrated. The divine weapon electric trident attached to the heavenly thunder bone finally cooperated and released a trace of the power of thunder and lightning under his command. The sky above was densely filled with purple clouds of thunder and lightning, and they came crashing down in his direction. Electric Fork Aura. With the support of the trident's chi field became extremely frightening. The purple cloud thunder blasted down and merged with the chi field. Even a top saint would not be able to burst with such power. Even a half-step Tongtian level power did not seem to be so strong. It was infinitely close to Tongtian level power. The lightning formed an electric fork and attacked the old woman. Even a half-step heavenspan expert would not be able to withstand the power of the electric fork's explosion. The old woman didn't expect Yang Wu to have such a move. She loosened her grip on Yang Wu's hand, allowing Yang Wu to struggle free. The old woman waved her hand, and a terrifying force field was formed, blocking the lightning. "You think you can do anything to this old woman with this little bit of strength? You still have a long way to go." The old woman responded and reached out to grab Yang Wu again. "Kill!" Yang Wu's killing intent soared. He roared and summoned the divine weapon electric fork. He infused all the lightning energy into the electric fork and blasted it towards the old woman. The power of the divine weapon electric trident was boundless. Under Yang Wu's activation, it released a trace of unique lightning energy. It was like a punishment from the heavens. The lightning energy was filled with destructive power, touching upon the most fundamental energy. The old woman felt a trace of threat. She revealed a trace of fear and murmured, "Fundamental lightning energy." Then, the old woman erupted with powerful strength. She pointed out her walking stick, and boundless star energy gathered. There was also a trace of moonlight light, which intertwined with the power of the electric fork. Boom! A terrifying explosion rang out, and a terrifying heaven and earth energy rippled out. Everything within a radius of dozens of miles was destroyed. The few geniuses who hadn't left were already scared out of their wit. When they saw this terrifying destructive power, they couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. If they had fled a little later, they would have been killed by the shockwaves as well. "Humph, at least you have some ability. I'll let you go this time." Next time, don't let me see you pestering little man, otherwise, I'll tear you apart alive. The old woman left behind a cold snort and disappeared with little man. All the power disappeared. Yang Wu's body smashed into the saint-transforming mountain. His internal organs were almost shattered, and his body was covered in blood. He looked extremely miserable. He still held the divine weapon electric fork with both hands. He burst out with an extremely unresigned aura and shouted, "Old thing, I don't care who you are. If you dare to hurt little man, I will not rest until you die." Little man had always been his servant, but Yang Wu treated her like his own sister. Even if the old woman was little man's master, she was still so rude. He was worried that the little man would be abused by her. "Now you know that your strength is still weak, right?" Little Hay jumped out of nowhere and said with a hint of schadenfreude. "What do you want to say?" Yang Wu was in a very bad mood and asked coldly. "Find the next type of profound essence qi. As long as you gather all 9 types of profound essence qi, the supreme 9 profound arts will reach perfection and become the strongest immortal art. Even immortals will be killed by you." Little Hay's eyes flashed as she said, "In less than half a year, I've broken through to such a high realm. Do you think I need to find profound essence qi now?" "Yes, it's very necessary." "Then you go find it yourself. I need to stabilize my current realm before I go find it." "Little Wu, what you need is to bravely advance. Don't be like a little old man and waste all that boring time." Yang Wu ignored Little Hay and used the supreme 9 profound arts to recover his life force. Little man being taken away by force was a huge blow to him. It really kicked him back to reality from heaven. He had defeated Jin Qiu and was feeling complacent. However, the appearance of the old woman gave him a warning. He absolutely could not underestimate an old monster of the reaching heaven realm. Otherwise, only death would await him. In addition, he had to think carefully about the matter of going to Purple Firmament Hall and Kunlun. He should not do it before reaching the reaching heaven realm. Being impulsive would not solve the problem. He had to have absolute strength before doing it. Xu Yujun, Sun Do, Yang Ba and the others rushed over. They were all worried about Yang Wu. Especially when they saw Yang Wu covered in injuries, their hearts ached even more. "That old woman really deserves to die," Xu Yujun said murderously. "I want to become stronger, even stronger. I will not allow anyone to harm my brothers." Sun Do clenched his fists. White-haired Demonis, Yang Ba, and Su Chu were all in a bad mood. They were all Yang Wu's subordinates. Their master was injured and they could not help at all. After Yang Wu's injuries were slightly better, he walked out of the crack in the mountain and said faintly, "Let's go." The black tortoise battleship appeared and brought them away quickly. "Big brother, I want to return to the sun-swallowing realm to continue cultivating." Sun Do expressed his thoughts to Yang Wu. "You've decided?" Yang Wu asked in return. "Yes, there are some inheritances that can be accepted after reaching the Star Rune realm. This time, we might leave for a longer time. The next time we meet, I will definitely be able to protect Big Brother." Sun Do replied seriously. "All right, you will walk your own path. No matter what happens, you must inform me. Everything is for your life. I don't want anything to happen to you," Yang Wu said solemnly. Yang Wu gave a drop of immortal liquid to Sun Do as well as some inferior immortal liquid. He and Sun Do were not blood brothers, but they were better than blood brothers. Sun Do left as soon as he said so. He did not linger for too long. He was greatly affected by the battle between Yang Wu and Jin Qiu. When he saw Yang Wu being beaten up by the old woman, he was even more furious. He did not want to watch Yang Wu being beaten up by others. He had to become stronger, and there was a place in the sun-swallowing realm that could help him become stronger. Yang Wu's battleship did not fly for long before a flying shuttle caught up. Chao Jifei's voice came from inside. "Yang Wu, my master hopes that you can make a trip to the main altar as soon as possible." "I will go." Yang Wu replied calmly. This is a big matter for your Yang clan. Chao Jifei left after saying this and left quickly. Miao Miao's voice sounded, Boss, come quickly. Yang Wu raised his eyebrows and said in a low voice, I'm going to the Apothecary Union. You guys go back to your clans first. Yang Wu then took out a few more drops of immortal liquid and gave them to Shu Yujun, White-haired Demoness, Yang Ba, Su Chu, and the others. Little Hei's eyes were a bit red. Master, I'll stay with you. White-haired Demoness did not want to leave Yang Wu. Shu Yujun also said, I don't need to go back to the sect for now. I'll stay with you. Yang Wu waved his hand and said, You guys go back and consolidate your strength and improve your cultivation. I want to be alone. This time, Yang Wu did not allow anyone to refute him. Even Jin Yuchen and Jin Yuhao, who wanted to follow Yang Wu, were rejected. Yang Wu told them to go to the Apothecary Union and wait for him while he went on his own. He left the Black Tortoise battleship for Yang Ba and the others to use. He did not need it for now. Yang Wu sat cross-legged on the silver-patterned turtle and slowly headed toward the Apothecary Union with Little Hei. Little Hei jumped onto Yang Wu's shoulder and asked, Little Wu, are you really not going to look for the profound essence chi? Little Hei, you clearly know that what I'm lacking right now is training. Why do you still ask? Yang Wu countered. Hee, it seems like you're still rational. Then why don't you accept this immortal emperor's devilish trial? What devilish trial methods do you have? Little man was able to grow so quickly. Do you think it's power that fell from the heavens? It's all because of this immortal emperor's teachings. All right, I'll accept your trial. Don't disappoint me. Don't worry. Before that, let's increase the bloodline of this little turtle. It's too weak. Yang Wu, Little Hei, and the silver-patterned turtle landed on a barren mountain. They walked to the Apothecary Union. The journey was extremely long. Who knew how long it would take them to reach the Apothecary Union? Yang Wu did not care about the time. He only wanted to comprehend the uniqueness of the Starline realm. He wanted to understand more about the mysteries of the Starline realm. This was also the reason why he chose to travel alone. As for the silver-patterned turtle, it was too weak. Yang Wu did not want it to follow in the footsteps of the golden-crowned eagle. Therefore, it had to increase its strength as soon as possible. Little Hei taught the silver-patterned turtle the blood-forging technique. As long as it persisted in cultivating, it would be able to continuously increase its bloodline power. The prerequisite was that it could devour the bloodline power of higher-grade spirit demons. They landed here to let the silver-patterned turtle and the other spirit demons fight. Yang Wu fed the silver-patterned turtle the inferior immortal liquid. The silver-patterned turtle's strength had reached the peak of the minor demon saint realm. It would not be easy for it to enter the demon saint realm. In addition, Yang Wu was also waiting for the king of Hell's palace to come after him. He desired to grow through battle. However, before the king of Hell's palace came, the Mount Song sect came first. Chapter 1208. The Mount Song sect was originally close to the sacred Transformation Mountain. They lived in the same region as the Shaolin Temple. They were the two giants of the Central Plains. The Shaolin Temple was stronger than the Mount Song sect, but the Shaolin Temple did not care about worldly matters. They only practiced abstinence and chanted Buddhist scriptures. The worldly matters were all controlled by the Mount Song sect. Yang Wu, Little Hei, and the silver-patterned tortoise landed in an area where the Mount Song sect disciples cultivated. With their strength, it was easy for them to hide without being discovered. Yang Wu did not want to continue hiding. He had already reached the Celestial Rune realm. Other than the experts of the Jade Moon realm who could help him, he was not afraid of anyone else. The Mount Song sect was not enough to make him avoid them. Yang Wu did not intend to provoke the Mount Song sect. They wanted to enter an ancient mountain range to temper themselves, but he was recognized by someone. Yang Wu, stop right there. A delicate voice cried out in alarm. Then, more than 10 people flew towards Yang Wu's location. There were old and young people among them. Yang Wu still had a deep impression of one of them. It was Li Yue, who he met in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. When Yang Wu saw the person who came, he frowned and asked, "What's the matter?" "Return my junior brother's life." Li Yue angrily shouted and stabbed towards Yang Wu. Li Yue was not ranked in the top 100 of the Heavenly Phoenix list, so she did not have the qualifications to enter the Sacred Transformation Pond. She also did not know what happened at the Sacred Transformation Mountain. The only word in her mind was revenge. Li Yue was at the peak of the Dragon Transformation realm. She used all of her strength to attack. Sword Qi crisscrossed, and its power was astonishing. In the blink of an eye, she arrived in front of Yang Wu. Just as her sword was about to stab Yang Wu stretched out 2 fingers and clamped her sword. "Don't provoke me." Yang Wu coldly looked at Li Yue and shouted. In the next moment, his 2 fingers snapped Li Yue's peak-grade Lesser Saint's sword like a pair of pliers. Li Yue was forced back and unwillingly said, "You've come to our Mount Song Sect's territory. If we let you leave alive, where will our Mount Song Sect's face go?" Then, she shouted to the old man beside her, "Marshal Uncle Zhao, junior brothers would died because of him. We can't let him go." The white-haired old man's eyes glowed red as he stared at Yang Wu and shouted, "Since you are the invincible emperor, you can commit suicide right in front of me." This old man's aura surged like a ferocious tiger. It seemed that if Yang Wu dared to say no, he would immediately tear Yang Wu apart. "Little Silver, other than this old fellow, you take care of the others," Yang Wu said to the silver-patterned turtle. "Yes, master." The silver-patterned turtle shouted. Its demonic eyes pulsed with a dense evil aura as it charged towards Li Yue. The silver-patterned turtle was unyielding and had a strong will. It had always been pursuing the path of becoming stronger. Yang Wu had also given it many opportunities. After it consumed the second-grade immortal liquid, it had already reached the peak-grade Lesser Saint realm. Its battle prowess was not inferior to Li Yue's. Moreover, Little He had taught it demonic arts. If it still lost this battle, then it was not worth nurturing. Courting death. The old man shouted and sent a palm strike towards the silver-patterned turtle that was charging over. This palm strike had reached the 3rd level of the Star Rune realm. It was not something a small demon could block. Before the old man's palm strike landed on the silver-patterned turtle, it was blocked by Yang Wu. Moreover, Yang Wu also sent a palm strike towards the old man. Puff! The old man felt as if he was struck by holy lightning. His body was sent flying as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Sacred Elder. The disciples of Mount Song Sect saw the old man who was sent flying and cried out in alarm. This sacred elder was very powerful and had an extraordinary status in their sect. However, he was actually not a match for Yang Wu. They found it hard to believe. At this moment, the silver-patterned turtle had already pounced in front of the disciples. With a wave of the Overlord fist, several disciples exploded. "Yang Wu, you dare to kill the people of our Mount Song Sect. You will definitely regret it." Li Yue was scared. She screamed and took out her distress jade tube, ready to release it. However, before she could release it, a strong wind swept past and snatched her distress jade tube away. "Train well with my mount. If you can defeat it, I will let you all live," Yang Wu said calmly. If it was any other time, he would not want to lower himself to Li Yue's level. However, he was in a bad mood now. If she provoked him, she would be asking for trouble. Moreover, Zhuo Shihan was not killed by him. It was Kuan Mingzi. This woman clearly knew about it, but she still blamed it on him. Did she really think that he did not have a temper? Li Yue was ashamed and angry. She had no choice but to fight the silver-patterned turtle with all her might. The silver-patterned turtle's strength had increased. He did not want to disappoint Yang Wu and Little He. He displayed extraordinary combat strength in an attempt to suppress Li Yue. Liyue was able to represent the Mount Song sect in the Heavenly Phoenix contest and obtain a high ranking. Her strength was not weak, and she had already comprehended sword intent. She used exquisite sword moves to stab the silver-patterned tortoise. The silver-patterned turtle was also ruthless. Relying on the defense of the turtle shell, it ignored Liyue's attacks and violently slammed into Liyue. From now on, I will not be afraid of anyone at the same level as me, the silver-patterned turtle shouted confidently. His huge body pressed against Liyue. Liyue vomited blood continuously and felt the threat of death. At the critical moment, Yang Wu stopped the silver-patterned turtle. That's enough. Let her go. Master, why don't you kill her? The silver-patterned turtle asked angrily. It makes no difference whether I kill her or not. Yang Wu replied and left with little hay. The silver-patterned turtle also let Liyue go and quickly followed Yang Wu. Liyue climbed up and cried bitterly. The sage elder with the surname Zhao came to her side and said, "He is the invincible Emperor Yang Wu?" Liyue nodded heavily and replied, "Yes, it's him." "Did he really kill the young sect master?" "No." "Then why did you shout for me to kill him?" "Because the person that the young sect master wanted to kill the most was Yang Wu." Yang Wu, Blackie, and the silver-patterned tortoise entered the ancient mountain range. Blackie brought the silver-patterned tortoise to hunt spirit demons of the same level to increase its combat strength and train the silver-patterned tortoise. Yang Wu, on the other hand, calmed his heart and comprehended the power of the astral pattern realm. He walked slowly as he circulated the immortal art in his body. The power of 5 star marks flashed as the power of the stars descended from the 9 heavens. The xian-qi of heaven and earth in the surroundings gathered. He carefully experienced what the power of the star mark realm was and what the true saint power was. The star pattern realm attracted the power of the stars. The soul power of the divine court and the power of the Dantian fused together to form a new bridge. This bridge was the star pattern realm. It could carry the power of the star pattern realm and transform it into the power of the stars. It was also called saint power. The star pattern realm's basic requirement was to reach the elementary level of the star pattern realm. Only by condensing the star pattern realm could one draw the power of the stars and refine the saint body and soul. The star pattern rainbow was the manifestation of reaching the intermediate level of the star pattern realm. Reaching the 4th star pattern realm was like a rainbow. The absorption of the star's power would greatly increase. The starlight path was the symbol of reaching the advanced level of the star pattern realm. At that time, one would have at least 7 star pattern realm. After condensing them together, it would form a starlight path and step into a higher realm. Stars in the sky. At this step, one would be able to evolve the power of the stars and possess the combat strength of a star. It was incomparably powerful. Yang Wu borrowed the power of the underworld xian-qi and the power of the stars in the Saint Transformation Pool to reach the 5th level of the star pattern realm, which was the intermediate level of the star pattern realm. The leap was too fast, and he had yet to fully comprehend the profoundness within. After calming down and comprehending, he slowly sensed where the power of the stars came from. The stars existed day and night. In the sky, they constantly illuminated the infinite living beings. Their power was pure and vast, purer than ordinary xian-qi of heaven and earth. After absorbing and refining it, one could transform it into a stronger power. It could eliminate the mottled power in the body and greatly increase one's vitality. After stepping into the star pattern realm, one would have a lifespan of at least 3,000 years. After becoming a top-notch sage, one could have a lifespan of at most 10,000 years. This was also the reason why so many experts wanted to pursue the star pattern realm. It was because they didn't want to die. They also wanted to live forever. If one couldn't even reach the star pattern realm, how could they talk about living forever? It was rumored that after reaching the Jade Moon realm, one still couldn't reach the immortal realm. There was a higher realm above it. That was the true transcendence of longevity. Yang Wu felt the power of the stars unceasingly supporting his body. Next, he had to comprehend how to use the power of the stars. The fighting strength of the star pattern realm depended on how one used the power of the stars. If one used it properly, the explosive power would be stronger. If one didn't use it properly, it would be difficult to display its true might. Yang Wu drew the power of the stars and used his heart to sense it. He gradually understood the crux of the matter. His body had reached the top-notch sage realm. His soul had also reached the peak of the sage realm. He could completely digest the willpower that had been passed down by the ancestors of the Yang clan. He understood the division of the power of stars. It was the same as the Xian Qi of heaven and earth. It was also divided into 9 different types of power of stars. There were countless stars outside the 9 heavens. They had all kinds of attribute. One could draw in the power of stars which one was proficient in. Moreover, the power of stars and willpower had a complementary relationship. The stronger a martial artist's willpower was, the greater the power of the stars they could withstand, and the greater the power of the stars they could control. This was because the power of the stars could be used by a martial artist, but how much they could use was directly related to their willpower. In addition, it was also related to the Xian formula. An expert practiced the Xian formula. He absorbed the Xian Qi of heaven and earth and the power of stars. The more he absorbed, the more power he could use. This was common knowledge to all experts. However, many people couldn't use their willpower to mobilize the power of stars. They focused on cultivating their body. They often didn't have time to cultivate their soul power. Even if they understood the crux of the matter, it wouldn't be easy to cultivate the strongest willpower. The earlier an expert cultivated his willpower, the more benefits he would obtain. This would be completely reflected after reaching the star pattern realm. Chapter 1209. Mental willpower and Dantian strength were both indispensable. The combination of the two formed the star lines that carried the power of the stars. After Yang Wu fully understood all of this, he began to try his own training. Little He led the way and found a high-tier demon saint. There were some sacred herbs there. Not only could he pick them, but he could also train himself. When Yang Wu's small body appeared in front of the demon saint did not say a word. He raised his huge claws and clawed at Yang Wu. "A human dares to intrude into my territory? Die!" The demon saint shouted. The huge claws could easily destroy a mountain. Its power was terrifying. Who knew that his claw would be blocked by Yang Wu's small hand? "Little Wu, feel the power of heaven and earth." Little He's voice sounded in Yang Wu's ears. Yang Wu took a deep breath, and his nostrils flared with rosy clouds. This was the aura of a saint. His 5 astral tattoos flickered as a neo-demon astral tattoo appeared on his forehead. A formless astral power appeared. This was the astral power of water. Dragon reverse spear art. Yang Wu used his finger as a spear. He drew on the power of the water stars and stabbed at the demon saint. Bang! The power of the stars condensed into a huge battle spear and stabbed at the demon saint's abdomen. The demon saint's defense was strong. Demon armor floated and blocked Yang Wu's spear. The demon saint was knocked back, but it was not fatal. "You're strong. Unfortunately, you're still going to die." The demon saint felt that Yang Wu's power had reached its limit. It clawed down again and tore the space apart. Yang Wu drew on the power of the stars again. Using 2 fingers, the 2 battle spears floated. They were like dragons and tigers, and their power increased by a lot. The man and the demon fought fiercely, and the nearby mountains were affected by the shock waves, constantly collapsing and exploding. As the battle escalated, Yang Wu became more proficient in manipulating the power of the stars. He used his willpower to guide the power of the stars, and the 5 star patterns shone brightly. When the boundless power of the stars converged, the pressure on his spiritual energy was the greatest. If he couldn't withstand it, he would be devoured by the power of the stars. Therefore, ordinary saints wouldn't use too much spiritual energy to carry the power of the stars. This also caused them to be unable to unleash their full power. Yang Wu's soul power was strong, and his spirit power was strong. Therefore, the amount of star power he could carry was even greater. Massive amounts of star power fell on his body. Every move he made was like a burst of star power, beating that high-level beast saint to a pulp. In the end, Yang Wu's finger pierced through the high-level demon saint's vitals like a spear, easily killing it. After the battle, Yang Wu immediately sat down cross-legged to digest the insights he had gained from the battle. Half a day later, he stood up. His whole body was surrounded by the power of the stars. He was like an immortal descending to the mortal world, noble beyond words. If I fight with Jin Qiu again in my current state, I will win easily, Yang Wu said with satisfaction. He went on the road again, running the Supreme Nine Mysteries formula all the time. The power of the stars was tempering every part of his body, completing the real process of star body tempering. In the Saint Transformation Pool, the star power that was forcefully poured in was too rough. It only tempered a part of his meridians and acupoints. But now, he was replenishing it again, so that every part of his body could be tempered to perfection. At this moment, the power of the stars he borrowed was like a frog steaming in warm water, slowly polishing the impurities in his body. In addition, it further expanded his meridians and acupoints. The famous and unknown meridians and acupoints in his body were cleansed, just like when he was in the martial soldier and warrior realms again. During this process, Yang Wu felt more and more changes in his body. He was becoming stronger and stronger, and the explosive power he contained was even more terrifying. The potential of the human body is limitless. The power of the stars is only the second stage of unlocking the potential of the body. This principle is the same as innate talent. Yang Wu began to understand. In the past, he only cared about tempering his innate talent. Now, he felt that he could temper every part of his body, and his body would experience a qualitative leap. He had always felt that the sacred dragon body was very powerful, but now he realized that this was not the case. Even without the tempering of dragon blood, after reaching the Star Mark realm, he could still temper a powerful saint body. It seems that this kid has understood. Little Hay looked at Yang Wu's faint smile and felt gratified. However, in Little Hay's eyes, the speed of tempering the body with the power of the stars was still a little slow. It needed to be in an extreme environment to force out more potential. On this day, Yang Wu, Little Hay, and the silver-patterned tortoise arrived at a forbidden area in the mountain range, the Fiendish Abyss. There were many ferocious beasts with fiendish auras living here. It was a place that many saint-level creatures did not want to go near. It was rumored that there were even divine-level ferocious beasts in the abyss, and there were also divine-level herbs. Whether this was true or not, only those who came out alive would know. Others were terrified by this place, but Yang Wu and the two demons took the initiative to approach this place. When they arrived, they discovered that there were people practicing martial arts nearby. It was a young monk with delicate features and awe-inspiring Buddhist aura. He was mobilizing the fiendish aura to temper his naked upper body. Even saints did not want to touch the fiendish aura here, but this young monk was actually fearless. He was even chanting and had entered a state where he forgot about himself. Little Wu, did you see that? Even a young monk knows how to use the fiendish aura to temper his body. You can't be weaker than others. Little Hay transmitted her voice to Yang Wu. Yang Wu nodded lightly and said, "Don't worry, I'll enter the abyss myself. You can just bring little Silver around here to temper yourself." After saying that, he walked step by step toward the fiendish abyss. It was a huge chasm, and layers of fiendish aura were floating in the air. It was as if huge corpses were being blown up, and it was very shocking. The fiendish aura was not weaker than the fiendish aura of the blood fiend mystic essence that Yang Wu had refined. In fact, its corrosive power was even stronger. Yang Wu walked into the fiendish aura, and his flesh started to feel itchy and uncomfortable. When he went deeper, he felt a tearing pain. This was the power of the fiendish aura. If he had not condensed a saint physique, he would not be able to get close to this place. That young monk suddenly opened his eyes, revealing a vicissitude gaze that did not match his appearance. He put his palms together and said, "Benefactor, the abyss ahead is dangerous. Please stop." Yang Wu turned around and replied, "Thank you for your reminder, Grandmaster. I have no reason to retreat." In order to become stronger, he indeed had no reason to retreat. If he could not even overcome some dangerous places, how could he become stronger? Amitba, Benefactor has great skill and courage. This little monk admires you. Why don't this little monk accompany you? The young monk stood up and responded. He quickly walked towards Yang Wu's position. At this time, Yang Wu found that the young monk was walking barefoot on the ground and was not affected by the fiendish aura at all. Just based on this point, Yang Wu thought highly of this young monk. "How should I address you, Grandmaster?" Yang Wu asked the young monk. "I don't know," the young monk replied. "You don't know? Are you looking down on me, so you don't want to tell me?" Benefactor misunderstood. "My Dharma name is I don't know. This Dharma name is quite unique. Grandmaster, are you from the Shaolin Temple?" "Yes, I am a disciple of the Shaolin Temple. How should I address you, Benefactor?" "Yang Wu." Yang Wu and the monk called I don't know chatted as they walked toward the edge of the fiendish abyss. The closer they got to the edge, the stronger the fiendish aura became. Ordinary saint-level creatures must rely on the protection of the holy armor to reach here. Yang Wu and I don't know do not need it. Their bodies are just as strong. I don't know also revealed a lot of information to Yang Wu. The most dangerous thing in the fiendish abyss is not the fierce beasts, but the fiendish wind aura here, which contains the power to tear the world apart. If you can't bear it, you will be torn into a pool of blood. Grandmaster, I really want to enter the abyss to cultivate. Do you really want to come with me? Yang Wu asked. Of course, the once-in-a-millennium martial saint assembly is about to start. If I don't work hard, I will lose my reputation as a Shaolin disciple. I don't know said. The once-in-a-millennium martial saint assembly? Is it the legendary sacred assembly of all races? Yang Wu asked in surprise. Yes, the sacred assembly of all races. The strongest martial saint will be decided and the resources of the saint level will be divided. Whether or not one can reach the heavens in the future will depend on this assembly. You don't seem to be paying attention to this, do you? I really don't know much about it. Can you explain it to me? No hurry, we are still a little weak. There is still some time before it starts. Let's cultivate first. Okay, then let's enter the abyss. Yang Wu and I don't know rushed into the abyss at the same time. As they entered the abyss, countless fiendish auras flooded them, and bursts of woo-woo sounds rang in their ears non-stop. Wisps of fiendish auras entered their bodies, and neither of them had it easy. Fortunately, their bodies were very strong and they could still withstand it. However, they soon encountered the fiendish wind. The fiendish wind's power was like a blade, and each of the fiendish wind's power had the power to kill a saint. Be careful, Benefactor Yang Wu. I don't know shouted. In the next moment, he put his palms together and looked solemn. A golden bell floated around his body, forming a strong defensive power that blocked the wind blades. The Buddha's golden bell shield. Ding, 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 ding. Many wind blades swept past and hit his golden bell, leaving marks on it. Yang Wu didn't defend himself, and he used his physical strength to resist these wind blades. He just wanted to test how strong these wind blades were. When the wind blades cut his body, he grimaced in pain. Fortunately, they didn't directly cut him, and only left a few marks on his body. This was the strength of his top-notch sacred body. Attracting the stars to temper the body. Yang Wu muttered to himself, and he used his immortal mystic to attract the power of the stars and combine it with the power of these wind blades. He further tortured his physical body and polished an even stronger sacred body. Benefactor, your physical body is so strong. Could it be that you've cultivated some kind of ancient body tempering technique? Yang Wu smiled and didn't answer. He felt that he might have masochistic tendencies now. Suddenly, an even stronger fiendish wind's power swept over, and I don't know was so scared that he strengthened his defense. Meanwhile, Yang Wu shouted, "This wave of wind blades is really awesome." Chapter 12:10. Fiendish Abyss. Fiendish winds blew here all year round. Ordinary saints would be torn apart by the fiendish winds if they got close. Yang Wu and Unknown God were heading toward the abyss when they were attacked by the powerful fiendish winds. No matter who it was, they would be shocked when they were attacked by the fiendish winds. Yang Wu was not afraid. Instead, he looked forward to it. Unknown God was stunned. Yang Wu still did not use the holy armor. He used his body to block the fiendish winds. The fiendish winds were like blades cutting his body. The fiendish winds were much stronger than before. Even a mid-level saint would not be able to withstand them. But the fiendish winds only left shallow wounds on Yang Wu's body. They did not even break his skin. There was not even a drop of blood. Unknown Monk, who was using the golden bell shield, saw this. His mouth was wide open. What kind of holy body is this? Why is it so sick? Not enough, come at me more fiercely. Yang Wu shouted in surprise, and actually took the initiative to guide the chaotic, baleful wind force to attack him. The fiendish winds seemed to be enraged. They madly rushed toward Yang Wu. Ding! 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 Yang Wu's body was like a top holy body. Even a top holy weapon could not hurt him. The fiendish winds looked fierce, but they could not do much damage to him. Yang Wu raised his hand and smashed the fiendish wind blades into pieces. With a dissatisfied look, he said, "Can this be considered a dangerous place? So weak." Then, he rushed down into the abyss. He felt that the fiendish winds were stronger and the fiendish winds were stronger. He hoped they could give him some pressure. Now, Yang Wu wanted to train his strongest body. He wanted more pressure from the outside world. He wanted to dig out the limits of his body. Only in this way could he draw upon more power of the stars to temper his body. Every part of his body was incomparably tough. If he wanted to squeeze out more space to refine the star energy, he would have to rely on external forces to temper his body faster. Little Hay had also said that the human body's potential was limitless. When one thought that they had reached their limits, they had only encountered some bottleneck. Only by breaking through these bottlenecks would one be able to unlock another level of potential. The more potential one could tap into, the more abnormal one's physique would be, and the more powerful one's combat strength would be. After Yang Wu rushed down, many baleful auras invaded his body. The Supreme Nine profound arts absorbed them one by one into his dantian and refined them into pure energy. They were not much of a threat to him at all. Yang Wu's eyes locked onto a storm zone. It was the place where the wind was the densest. Even high-level saints didn't dare to get close to it. The wind was still sweeping up a large number of bones and stones. Under the power of the wind blades, everything was turned into powder. Yang Wu rushed in without hesitation. His body was finally injured. Wind blades tore at his skin and flesh, and the fiendish aura entered his body and corroded it. Hiss! Yang Wu sucked in a breath of cold air. He used the celestial art to draw in star power to refine his body. The combination of the wind and star power caused even more pain. It was really not something that just anyone could endure. The celestial qi in Yang Wu's body flowed, continuously healing his injuries. He endured the pain with his strong willpower and cultivated. This was definitely an inhumane way of cultivation. Only Yang Wu dared to do this. Injury. Repair. Injury. Repair. This repeated endlessly. The conversion of star power became faster and faster, and the toughness of his body gradually increased. Not far away, someone saw Yang Wu's self-torture and couldn't help but exclaim, "Freak, what a freak!" He cultivated the most mysterious Buddhist tendon metamorphosis, but even he didn't dare to endure the brutal attacks of the wind blades like Yang Wu. At this moment, an angry roar rang out. An even more majestic storm rushed in Yang Wu's direction. The monk's eyes jumped and he immediately cried out, "Benefactor Yang Wu, run! It's a wind beast!" Wind beasts were creatures that lived in the fiendish abyss. Their bodies were huge, and their bodies were like worms. They had large mouths, and their breaths were filled with fiendish aura. They had the innate ability to summon the wind. This was a saint-level wind beast. Even if it was only a high-ranking saint in this abyss, it could explode with battle prowess comparable to that of a top-level saint. Encountering a wind fiend fierce beast here was an extremely dangerous matter. Yang Wu was also aware of the existence of the ferocious wind beast. He exclaimed excitedly, "Just in time." He didn't care about the injuries on his body, and rushed towards the wind fiend beast. Wind God's Kick. Yang Wu's legs kicked towards the ferocious wind beast. The Wind God's Kick was most suitable for fighting in this kind of place where the wind was extremely strong. The tornado he kicked out also had a very strong amplification power. It rushed towards the wind beast. The two storm forces collided, causing an earth-shattering explosion. Yang Wu's battle prowess was fierce to begin with. He didn't show any mercy when facing the wind beast. He broke through the layers of wind blades and furiously kicked at the wind beast. The ferocious wind beast's body was huge, but its body was incomparably light. When it flashed, it was extremely fast. When it dodged Yang Wu's attack, it twisted its body, causing an even more terrifying ferocious wind blade to charge towards Yang Wu. Yang Wu forcibly broke through these wind fiend blades, and angrily kicked the body of the wind fiend ominous beast. Bang bang! The wind beast was kicked away by Yang Wu, and blood splattered everywhere. Just as Yang Wu was about to give chase, he once again heard a series of angry roars, and waves of baleful wind force swept towards him from all directions. A large number of wind beasts appeared. Unbeknownst to him, the monk was also attacked by the wind fiend ferocious beasts, forcing him to fight back. "Benefactor Yang Wu, run quickly. There are too many of these big guys." Unknown Monk called out to Yang Wu. Yang Wu acted as if he didn't hear Unknown Monk's call. Not only did he not retreat, but he also rushed towards the wind beast. "I'll use you guys as an example," Yang Wu murmured. Blackie had forced him into this dangerous place to cultivate in the hope that he would be able to burst forth with a stronger fighting strength in this dangerous place. He also thought so. The large number of ferocious wind beasts that appeared here was just a stumbling block in his training. Yang Wu only used the wind god's legs to fight the wind beast. He didn't use any other talents or battle skills. The wind god's legs was the best battle talent here. Yang Wu's legs used the wind to constantly dodge and move. His legs continuously kicked, causing a storm like a wind dragon with amazing power. There were nearly 100 wind beasts, and most of them were at the Saint realm. It was really scary. If they all attacked at the same time, even a top-tier saint would die. Because of this, the fiendish abyss was a place where no living creature could get close. Yang Wu appeared at the side of a wind demon beast. His foot technique was like a sharp blade as he kicked the wind demon beast's abdomen. A powerful chi entered the body of the wind demon beast and instantly destroyed its internal organs, killing it on the spot. He didn't stop. His body flashed again and appeared behind two other wind beasts. A series of kicks fell on them like rain, completely destroying their bodies. Yang Wu continued to kill the wind beast. At the same time, he was also attacked by powerful wind beasts. Cracks appeared on his body and blood seeped out. No matter how strong his body was, he would still be injured in the face of so many attacks. Under the stimulation of the pain, Yang Wu looked at the wind blades around him. Light flashed, and the power of his kicks changed inexplicably. He began to imitate these wind blades. Every one of them contained a very strong destructive power. If he could kick out the same wind blades, the lethality would be greatly increased. Yang Wu used the wind beasts as training target. He carefully observed how they controlled the wind blade. He found that they were born with the power of wind. They could easily control the fiendish chi into wind blades and kill in all directions. My wind god's kick also contains the power of wind. I need to borrow the power of wind to form wind blades. Yang Wu thought to himself. He kept imitating the power of the wind blades and was completely immersed in the state of cultivation. The wind beasts around him were chasing after him, but he didn't care at all. He kicked out again and again, and the soul in the divine court was also sensing the changes here. His feet kicked faster and faster, and finally, the power of wind blades condensed into form. Wind god's kick, wind blade storm. Yang Wu poured all his power into his legs and activated his talent. His body spun rapidly and attracted the wind in all directions. Countless leg shadows appeared, forming a terrifying wind blade storm. Boom! Boom! The wind blades created by Yang Wu were like wind dragons carrying sharp blades as they wreaked havoc in the area. One by one, the ferocious wind beasts were turned into pools of blood by the force of his legs. These wind beasts were torn apart by the talent they were best at. They died unwillingly. Wu Yi, who had retreated to the top, saw this scene and opened his mouth wide. Ah! Amitba! Benefactor Yang Wu's comprehension is too powerful. In such a dangerous place, he can still comprehend a killing move. I don't know which side cultivated such a freak. Wu Yi had always been called the strongest prodigy by the Shaolin Temple in 10,000 years. He was also in the top 10 of the last Heavenly Dragon list. Now, he found that Yang Wu's talent was not inferior to his. It was even uncertain who would win if the two of them fought. Yang Wu had killed nearly 100 wind fiend beasts in a single move, clearing out all the threats in the vicinity. He took a deep breath, and a happy smile appeared on his face. I finally comprehended a new move. It really wasn't easy. After he comprehended Demon Slayer and Martial God's Fist, he created Wind Blade Storm. His self-created combat skills were the most suitable for him. After Yang Wu killed these wind beasts, he continued to head down the abyss. The dense evil chi here was becoming more and more threatening to him. The pain was getting stronger. It was like the pain of being skinned and pulled out. It was not any less than the pain of being struck by lightning. If he didn't have an immortal body, he wouldn't be able to withstand such abnormal torment. He finally landed in the abyss and found that there were wind blades here. A satisfied smile appeared on his face. Chapter 12:11. Yang Wu had just comprehended the storm of wind blades, and the offensive power of his wind god's leg had increased by a lot. But after leaving the fiendish abyss, without the support of the fiendish chi, the power would decrease a little. But the fiendish wind grass could solve this problem. Refining a stalk of fiendish wind grass could condense the fiendish chi. It was a sacred herb that wind profound chi saints desired. Yang Wu did not expect to see a small patch of fiendish wind grass as soon as he reached the bottom of the fiendish abyss. Among them, there were dozens of sacred herbs and the rest were small sacred herbs. He did not hesitate to dig out the fiendish wind grass. The fiendish wind grass can condense the power of the fiendish chi and also increase the power of wind profound chi. If this medicinal power is integrated into my wind god's leg, it will definitely help the wind god's leg to release the fiendish chi and its power will be even stronger. Yang Wu said as he swallowed a stalk of fiendish wind grass that had reached the level of a sacred herb and directly refined its medicinal power. The fiendish wind grass was not eaten like this. It contained the power of the fiendish wind. Whoever consumed it would have their meridians and organs corroded by the fiendish chi. Only the fiendish wind beasts could consume it like this. Yang Wu's stomach felt as if it was being cut by a knife, but this kind of pain was nothing to him. Very quickly, the medicinal power was refined and a strand of fiendish qi flowed into the Yongquan acupoint in his legs. Yang Wu felt the power of his wind god's leg growing and also felt the fiendish qi in his acupoints. He was very satisfied and continued to stroll around here. At this time, Unknown Monk also landed. His whole body was covered in a golden bell that blocked the fiendish qi. When he saw Yang Wu, he loudly said, "Benefactor Yang Wu, you are really abnormal." Yang Wu rolled his eyes at Unknown Monk and said, "Monks cannot speak vulgarities." Sin. Unknown Monk replied with his palms together and then said, "I heard that there are many good things in the abyss, but it also contains a terrifying risk. You must be careful." "Thank you for the reminder, I will be careful," Yang Wu replied and continued to walk forward. Since he had entered a dangerous place, he definitely would not leave like this. Unknowingly, the monk also caught up and walked side by side with Yang Wu. They had to resist the demonic aura at all times. It was impossible for ordinary saints to stay here for a long time. However, they were all geniuses with deep foundations. They were stronger than ordinary saints and could stay here for a longer period of time. Not long after, they really did notice another shocking thing. It was a baleful god tree, and numerous crystalline and tempting fruits grew on it. This was a fiend spirit fruit that was extremely beneficial to the soul. Its value was even higher than the wind fiend grass. Unknowingly, the monk's breathing also became hurried. "We're rich. There are a total of 36 fiend spiritual fruit. The ferocious wind beast guarding that place is very strong. Do you want to go or should I?" Yang Wu said in a deep voice. Beside the baleful god tree, there was an even more powerful baleful wind beast. Its eyes were filled with baleful qi as it stared at Yang Wu and Wui. Its mouth spewed out a dense baleful wind qi. As long as the two of them approached, it would immediately kill them. "I'll measure its strength. If it's not enough, you can go." Unknowingly, the monk didn't want to miss out on the fiend's spiritual fruit. It was extremely helpful for him to condense the Buddha saint's soul. He shouted and took the initiative to charge at the ferocious wind beast. Yang Wu didn't move. He observed the surroundings and discovered that there were still many powerful ferocious wind beasts. They were all hiding in the cave walls and would pounce out at any time. Other than that, he also saw many high-grade stone materials and some high-grade wind fiend herbs. Yang Wu didn't immediately make a move. He was watching the battle with the ferocious wind beast. Unknowingly, the monk's strength was indeed powerful. He erupted with the strength of a level 7 celestial pattern realm, which belonged to a high-grade saint. He opened and closed his Buddhist palms, and his Buddhist aura was vast and mighty as he fought fiercely with the ferocious wind beast. The ferocious wind beast made use of its geographical advantage. Even a level 12 celestial pattern realm saint might not be able to gain an advantage over it. However, unknowingly, the monk was able to fight it to a draw. It could be seen how powerful his combat strength was. If it was outside the abyss, it wouldn't be difficult for unknowingly to kill the ferocious wind beast. However, in this place where the fiendish aura was pervasive, he couldn't gain the upper hand and couldn't end the battle quickly. If this dragged on, he was afraid that he would be defeated due to his lack of strength. Just as he was about to use his trump card, Yang Wu charged at the fiend's spiritual tree. Roar! Without waiting for Yang Wu to rush over, the ferocious wind beast that was fighting fiercely with unknowingly roared and charged at him. Unknowingly, the pressure on unknowingly was greatly reduced. He sighed and said, "What a good person." He definitely didn't think that Yang Wu was acting for the fiend's spiritual fruit. He believed that Yang Wu was deliberately charging at the fiend's spiritual tree to save him. In fact, Yang Wu was doing this to reduce the pressure on unknowingly. Unknowingly came from Shaolin and was a righteous person. Yang Wu didn't want to see him get hurt here. At the same time, the other ferocious wind beasts also charged out. This is the lair of the ferocious wind beast. Unknowingly sighed, and took the initiative to deal with the other weaker ferocious wind beast. Yang Wu fought with the top Saint Realm ferocious wind beast. This time, he didn't want to slowly hone his battle. Instead, he chose to end the battle quickly. He was afraid that he would destroy the fiend's spiritual fruit. Nether Ice Winged Blade. Roar. The Nether Ice Winged Blade slashed out invisibly and cut the ferocious wind beast's huge body in half. Beast blood splattered everywhere. Yang Wu looked at the other ferocious wind beasts and continued to kill with the Nether Ice Winged Blade. One by one, the ferocious wind beasts became ghosts under the blade. Such killing speed frightened unknowingly. Yang Wu collected the corpses of the ferocious wind beasts and planned to dig up the fiend's spiritual tree. Benefactor Yang Wu, always leave a way out. You don't have to dig up the divine tree and take it away. Unknowingly was very surprised by Yang Wu's actions. Everything in the world had its own laws. If one left a way out, there would be new fiend spiritual fruits in the future waiting for the fated person to take them. It could be considered leaving behind good karma and good karma. Yang Wu actually took the fiend's spiritual tree away. Wasn't his style too ruthless? Yang Wu didn't explain. Instead, he smiled and said, "You can take half of the fiend's spiritual fruits here. The rest is mine. You killed the ferocious wind beast. I don't dare to take so many. Just 10 will do. But I hope you can leave the divine tree behind." Unknowingly. I'm an alchemist. I have a medicinal field at home. If I bring it back to plant it, it won't be destroyed. This place is full of fiend spiritual chi. It's also the best place to grow fiend spiritual fruit. If you plant it, it might not be able to survive. Don't worry, I have my ways. I still hope you can leave the divine tree behind. Don't be so ruthless. Karma is a cycle. Leave behind a good root and you will enjoy the good karma. In the end, Yang Wu still listened to unknowingly. He left a root for the fiend's spiritual tree. It was very difficult for this root to survive. It might wither soon. Of course, it would have a chance to grow. Unknowingly had the urge to fight Yang Wu. This guy didn't give him any face at all. Then, Yang Wu took out the second-grade immortal liquid and poured it on the root. After the root was watered by the second-grade immortal liquid, it quickly regained its vitality. It sprouted at a speed visible to the naked eye. Unknowingly was stunned. This works? Unknowingly. Okay, now can I take the tree away? Yang Wu asked. I really didn't expect Benefactor Yang Wu's fate to be so good. You even have a divine liquid. No wonder you can plant a fiend's spiritual tree. Unknowingly, he silently agreed with Yang Wu's actions. Yang Wu took 12 fiend's spiritual fruits and gave them to Unknowingly. However, Unknowingly still insisted on taking 10. These fiend's spiritual fruits were top-grade sacred fruit. Who wouldn't want 1 or 2 more? Unknowingly was able to stay true to his heart. Yang Wu didn't force him. The two of them began to collect some herbs and stones from the abyss. This time, they split it evenly. Yang Wu continued to explore the abyss. He firmly believed that there must be a great secret here. Otherwise, how could this fiendish energy appear endlessly? Unknowingly wasn't as courageous as Yang Wu. He persuaded Yang Wu to leave as soon as possible. There was great danger here. Yang Wu continued to stubbornly move forward. However, not long after, he saw an extremely terrifying fiendish energy rushing towards him. This terrifying energy scared Yang Wu so much that he frantically retreated. He didn't even have the courage to resist. Not fast enough. Go faster. The Nether Ice Wing Blade appeared on Yang Wu's back and he quickly flew back. Even a half-step into the heaven-piercing realm's speed was not comparable. Unfortunately, it was still not enough. Oh no! Unknowingly, who had retreated far away, also saw Yang Wu in danger and involuntarily cried out. He wanted to help Yang Wu, but unfortunately it was too late. At this critical moment, he saw Yang Wu take out a long sword. A majestic star energy was drawn over. With a slash of the sword, it was as if the galaxy was destroyed by this sword. Boom! The sword momentum and the fiendish energy clashed together, causing an earth-shattering explosion. Billowing fiendish energy rippled out in all directions. Yang Wu was swept away by the rebounding force. He spat out a mouthful of blood and his body was sent flying far away. Yang Wu quickly bounced up and turned into an afterimage. He quickly rushed out of the fiendish abyss. Unknowingly, Monk also didn't dare to stay. He fled as fast as he could, afraid that he would be affected by the fiendish energy attracted by Yang Wu. The fiendish energy continued to soar into the sky, causing an extremely shocking phenomenon. Looking from afar, it was as if the end of the world had arrived. The destructive energy was too terrifying. Yang Wu and unknowingly Monk were swept up by this energy at the same time. They were thrown high into the sky and their bodies almost exploded. If they were just a bit slower, they would definitely end up without a corpse. Fortunately, the fiendish energy didn't continue to attack. The fiendish abyss returned to its calm state. Ba! This little monk almost lost his life here. Unknowingly Monk fell to the ground without any strength. He was covered in blood and said with a tone of luck, "The fiendish abyss is indeed a fiendish abyss. It really lives up to its name." Chapter 12:12. In the vast mountain range, ancient trees towered into the sky. There were countless strange flowers and plants. Looking down from the sky, it was like a beautiful painting. Every step one took was enchanting. This beautiful and mysterious mountain range did not have any signs of human habitation. There was only an endless amount of spirit beasts, vicious beasts, and poisonous creatures. On this day, the sky was high and the clouds were light. The wind was light and refreshing. Two young men were sitting cross-legged in front of an old tree. They were enveloped by the light of the stars and were filled with a divine aura. One of the young men was wearing a clean navy blue martial robe. His body flickered with blue light like the power of the ocean. It was unfathomable. The other young man was wearing a monk's robe. He was a monk. He had delicate features and a vast Buddhist aura. He was a natural-born Buddha. The two of them sat for who knows how long before they slowly opened their eyes. Ba! I'm finally alive. Unknown Monk sighed. I've let you down. Yang Wu apologized to Unknown Monk. If he did not insist on going deeper, he would not have caused such great danger. Benefactor Yang Wu, don't blame yourself. I'm just trying to train myself. Moreover, I've already retreated far away and did not go deeper with you. Otherwise, I might not have been able to escape. Unknown Monk said. He then continued, I'm preparing to return to the temple. I wonder where Benefactor Yang Wu is from? Unknown Monk had never heard of a peerless genius like Yang Wu. Naturally, he had to ask so that they could take care of each other in the future. With Yang Wu's reputation, everyone in the transcendent realm knew of his existence. Unknown Monk rarely paid attention to the outside world, so it was normal that he had not heard of him. Yang Wu replied, I'm a disciple of the Battle Race's Yang family. So you're a genius of the Battle Race's Yang family. No wonder you're so abnormal. Unknown Monk had heard of the Battle Race's 8 great families. They were all geniuses with outstanding combat prowess. He then said, Why don't you follow me back to Shaolin as a guest? That way I can show you some hospitality. Unknown Monk is too polite. I still need to continue training. I'll pay you a visit when I have the chance in the future. All right. Originally, I wanted to temper myself a bit more. However, after seeing how monstrous you are, I have to return to the temple and properly cultivate. When my strength increases again, I will come out to temper myself. I look forward to competing with you in the Martial Saint Assembly. Alright, see you at the Martial Sage Conference. Unknown Monk left. Yang Wu found Little Black and the silver-patterned turtle. The silver-patterned tortoise was trained by Blackie to fight against spirit demons and ferocious beasts that were stronger than it. First, he found an opponent of the same level, then a half-step demon saint, and then a real demon saint. Silver, silver, silver. Silver, 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 silver. And silver, silver, silver a blood. Anne of blood. Among spirit demons of the same level, as long as he did not meet an opponent with a higher bloodline, he could completely crush them. He could even defeat a half-step saint spirit demon or a ferocious beast. But when facing demon saints, Silver Silver A Blood was still a little powerless. He only relied on his defensive techniques to fight with his opponent. In the end, he relied on his innate attacks to kill his opponent. After winning, he was seriously injured. Under Little Hay's supervision, Silver Silver A Blood devoured the demon saint's bloodline to strengthen his bloodline power. When his strength recovered, his combat prowess increased by a lot. The silver-patterned tortoise's temperament was more ferocious and belligerent. It enjoyed the joy of victory and did not have any objections to Blackie's suggestion of training. Moreover, after winning, Silver Silver A Blood could soak in the second-grade immortal liquid. His physical strength would become stronger and reach the half-step demon saint physique. He would soon enter the demon saint physique. Originally, Silver Silver A Blood could also use the second-grade immortal liquid to break through to the demon saint realm. However, Little Hay did not allow him to do so. She wanted him to cultivate the demon saint physique first before breaking through. Yang Wu felt Silver Silver A Blood's improvement and was very gratified. He did not want Silver Silver A Blood to follow in the footsteps of the golden-crowned eagle. Yang Wu and the others continued on their journey. They underwent an incomparably cruel training. In the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, Yang Wu was only forced by Little Hay to cultivate his innate talent power. There were not many powerful opponents there for him to train with. This time it was different. The Transcendent Realm was too big. There would be a large number of living beings between each realm. Moreover, there were also many powerful living beings. As long as he went deep into various dangerous places, he would be able to encounter such powerful living beings. Yang Wu went deep into a poisonous miasma area alone and encountered a high-level saint-level crocodile. The crocodile's combat prowess was not inferior to that of a top-level saint-level living being. Moreover, his defense was extremely abnormal. Yang Wu used the power of the stars to suppress him. The barbarian god's arm, which had been integrated with the python coiling arm battle technique, could be both hard and soft. He used the strength of his arms to bind the crocodile and strangled him to death. Yang Wu took the crocodile's skin and demon core. He also obtained some high-level poisons in his territory. These poisons were highly toxic, but if used properly, they could also be life-saving medicines. Yang Wu continued to shuttle through the poisonous miasma. He was immune to all poisons and completely ignored the attacks of these poisonous miasma. In addition, the sacred mandala flower loved to devour these poisonous miasma. She devoured them crazily, and her strength steadily increased. The golden scorpion that she had taken in was also continuously devoured by poisonous creatures. Its growth was also very fast. The golden scorpion was always so small, but it was a poisonous creature. Once stung by its tail, even a saint-level living being would die. With the sacred mandala flower's nurturing, it had been raised to the saint level, and its toxicity was even more overbearing. On this day, Yang Wu encountered a swarm of poisonous insects that blotted out the sky. These poisonous insects were not very powerful, but there were thousands of them. Even a saint-level living being would die after being surrounded by them. After arriving here, Little Hay did not allow Yang Wu to use the power of the stars. He only allowed him to use his weapons to kill them one by one. There were so many poisonous insects here, and he was not allowed to use his celestial chi to kill them all. It was very difficult to kill them all. Yang Wu could not help but sigh at Little Hay's abnormal training method. Even if he had a powerful holy body, it would take him a long time to kill them one by one. This training was not a test of his endurance, but rather his reaction speed and control of his combat skills. Yang Wu took a deep breath. He held the spear in one hand and the sword in the other. He divided his attention and began to kill these poisonous insects in a frenzy. Puff, puff. Yang Wu's attacks were as fast as lightning. The long spear pierced through the poisonous insects one by one. The long sword, on the other hand, slashed continuously, taking the lives of poisonous insects one after another. This killing speed seemed very fast, but it was far from Little Hay's requirement. Little Hay said loudly, "Little Wu, use all the battle skills you have cultivated. Remember, you are not allowed to use your celestial qi or borrow the qi of heaven and earth." He was not allowed to use the celestial qi in his dantian or the qi of heaven and earth. He could only fight with his physical strength. Moreover, he had to use battle skills. This requirement was not just a little high. To kill these poisonous insects, one only needed to be fast enough. Who would have the time and energy to use battle skills to kill them? Moreover, once he used battle skills, he would have to divide his attention and use both his spear and sword skills. This was not something that an ordinary person could do. Yang Wu had no choice but to do as he was told. His battle soul could create doppelgangers. It was not difficult for him to divide his attention and use battle skills. The difficult part was a battle of attrition. Reverse Dragon Spear Art. Stellar Sword Art. The Reverse Dragon Spear Art was a spear art passed down in the Yang family. Cultivating it would allow one to condense spear intent and stimulate the power of one's bloodline. Currently, Yang Wu had only cultivated spear intent. He had not condensed his own spear Dao. The Stellar Sword Art was a sword art passed down to him by his master. It was a top-tier minor saint sword art. It was similar to his star-swallowing sword art. With the reverse dragon spear in one hand and the stellar sword in the other, he took away the lives of groups of poisonous insects. The lethality of the battle skill had indeed increased, but the speed of killing enemies had slowed down. This was because each movement of the battle skill could not keep up with the changes of so many poisonous insects. Many of them had already pounced on him. This won't do. I need to be flexible. Yang Wu endured the bites of the insects and thought to himself. He could not use his energy to shake off these insects, but he did not want them to eat his flesh either. The sacred mandala flower swallowed them one by one. This was not cheating, so Little Hay could not blame him. However, if he could not even deal with these insects, then Little Hay would be disappointed. If I only had one battle weapon, then perhaps the lethality would be faster. However, since I have to divide my attention, then I need to use both weapons to perfection. Yang Wu pondered and began to change his direction. Using the spear as a shield and the sword as an attack, he could not only prevent the insects from getting close but also kill them. Swoosh! Swoosh! The spear spun and the streaks of spear energy dispersed, killing many of the insects. It became extremely difficult for the insects to get close to Yang Wu. Additionally, the mysterious phoenix sword in his hand turned into the sharpest sword energy, slashing in all directions with the dense power of the way of the sword. One insect after another was slain by the sword. The way of the sword was not the power of the world. Instead, it was a kind of martial intent. It could increase a person's battle prowess and increase the variety of battle skills. There might not even be 1 in 10,000 people who could cultivate their own martial path. Yang Wu had the black tortoise way of the sword and the star-devouring way of the sword. If he did not use them properly, then it would be a complete waste. Yang Wu did not know how long he had been killing. A pile of insect corpses lay around him, and the insects attacking him became fewer and fewer. In the end, some of them unwillingly retreated. When Yang Wu stopped, the sacred mandala flower extended out and devoured all the insect corpses. A portion of it was absorbed by her, while the rest was fed to the golden scorpion. After Yang Wu stopped, he sat cross-legged on the ground and began to recall the battle just now, digesting what he had learned. Under the premise of not using the qi of the Dantian and the qi of heaven and earth, he continuously used battle skills. He had gained a lot. My soul and physical body are very strong, but when I use combat skills, it's still not perfect enough. The previous perfection is just an illusion. At best, I'm only at the stage of great success. True perfection is when the soul and physical body react on the same channel. Wherever the divine thought goes, the attack will follow. There should be no difference. Chapter 12-13. In the wilderness, a young man was leading a little hay dog and a silver-patterned tortoise. They encountered many dangerous situations, but they were able to break through all obstacles and force their way through. "Little Hay, how have I improved this month?" the young man asked the little hay dog on his shoulder. "So," the little hay dog replied. "So," the young man sighed. "Of course, I haven't encountered any creature close to the god realm. It's not challenging at all." "Then it seems I'll have to expose my whereabouts and make those who want to kill me appear." "That's more like it. Let's hurry up and kill them. Then we'll be able to search for profound essence qi in peace." "What if I die?" "With the immortal peach tree, you won't die." "All right, before we enter Thunder Mountain, I'll expose my whereabouts. Whether it's the Xing family or Yama Palace, anyone who wants to kill me can come at me." For a month, Yang Wu walked from Sacred Transformation Mountain to the Apothecary Union. He walked through the mountains and the wilderness, where spirit demons, vicious beasts, and even foreign races roamed the most. Alone, he was fearless and courageously moved forward. Even though he had the strength of a level 5 celestial rune realm, he still encountered many dangers in these places. For example, there were god-level existences in the fiendish abyss, divine poison bugs hidden in the poisonous miasma, and tens of thousands of vicious beasts in the wilderness. These existences made him suffer a lot. Yang Wu improved quickly through these trials. He comprehended Windblade Storm, Spear and Sword as One, Soul Kill, and other offensive moves. He also borrowed the power of the stars to temper his body. The divine court Dao flower finally bloomed its 10th petal, and all of his innate abilities entered the second stage of great success. He also cultivated the Black Tortoise Spear Way with the Black Tortoise Way of the Sword, which had the same origin as the Black Tortoise Way of the Sword, so it wasn't difficult to comprehend. The Way of the Black Tortoise had a lot to do with the power of his bloodline. It was also a martial art passed down by the will of the ancestors of the Yang family. Yang Wu had gone through a period of training, and it was reasonable for him to have mastered the Black Tortoise Way of the Spear. Regardless of whether it was the spear or the sword, after condensing the martial path, the attack power would be greatly increased, and the battle prowess would be even more powerful. In this 1 month, Yang Wu's realm did not increase too much, but his combat power already rose a level comprehensively. He could now control 80% of the power of the stars. Why was it only 80%? An ordinary saint would only be able to use 10% to 30% of the star's power. Even a peerless genius would only be able to use 40% to 50% of the star's power. Most saints would not be able to withstand the pressure of the star's power. This had a lot to do with their soul's will. The soul and the physical body were the foundation to withstand the power of the stars. Many martial artists only focused on cultivating their physical body, and their soul's power was not strong. There were also some who focused on cultivating their soul's power, but their physical body could not keep up. The two were difficult to balance, so even if they reached the Star Rune realm, they would not be able to use more stars' power in battle. Yang Wu being able to use 80% of the stars' power was already a terrifying number. Once he reached 100%, he would be able to completely control the power of the stars. Only when one reached the peak of the Saint realm would they dare to say that they could control the power of the stars. This was also the great Tao of the stars imprinted on the immortal immortality peach tree's leaf. Yang Wu still had not completely comprehended the martial path. He did not want to think about the great Tao of the heavenly Tao for the time being. After this month of training, Yang Wu felt like he had been reborn. He had become much more confident. He really wanted to cultivate in this kind of battle for a few years. At that time, his Tao of life and death might become even stronger. Unfortunately, he did not have that much time. He had to hurry to the Apothecary Alliance. Chao Jifei said that this was a matter of great importance to the Yang family. Miao Miao also hoped that he would hurry over. He could not delay for too long. Thus, Yang Wu left the wilderness and found a city. He rode on the silver-patterned turtle and teleported to the Kunlun realm. Yang Wu's appearance had already spread throughout the transcendent realm. Anyone who paid attention to the world's affairs would be able to recognize Yang Wu. Soon, some people who wanted to kill Yang Wu caught up. Although Yang Wu's name had been removed from the bounty list, it did not mean that no one dared to kill him. King Yama's palace had already released King Yama's decree. This was a command token. All the demonic cultivators in the world would listen to King Yama's decree and come to kill Yang Wu. As long as they killed Yang Wu, they could join King Yama's palace and obtain the cultivation resources of King Yama's palace. They could become stronger. In the eyes of these demonic cultivators, King Yama's palace was the leader of the demonic cultivators. It was the holy land that they yearned for. The first demonic cultivator who chased after Yang Wu was a rogue cultivator. He was a famous demonic saint and was known as the demonic cultivator. This person cultivated the 9-blood demonic technique and specialized in refining the blood of demonic creatures. He condensed demonic power and was extremely powerful. Even though he was only a high-level saint, he could hunt down top-level saints. The reason why the demonic cultivator came so quickly was that he was the closest to Yang Wu. He had teleported from another city and quickly caught up with Yang Wu, who was traveling openly. The demonic cultivator was dressed as a monk. He wore a gray robe and carried a sword on his back. He rode on a demonic winged eagle. When he saw Yang Wu from afar, he shouted, "Is that Saint Master Yang Wu?" "It is Yang Wu. And you are?" Yang Wu looked back and asked. "I'm the demonic cultivator. I'm here to take your head." The demonic cultivator laughed. The sword on his back flew out and turned into a rainbow that slashed at Yang Wu's head. Controlling a sword to kill was quite a clever method. The demonic cultivator had cultivated the 9-blood demonic technique to the 7th level. His sword had drunk a lot of demonic blood and was called the demonic blood sword. When he slashed out, a bloody light appeared and the power was astonishing. Yang Wu stood with his head held high. He raised his fist and punched out across the air, shattering the power of the demonic blood sword. Demonic blood hell. The demonic cultivator rode on the demonic winged eagle and quickly descended. He condensed a demonic blood hell and countless demonic blood swords slashed at Yang Wu. The demonic cultivator attacked with all his strength, not giving Yang Wu any chance at all. Ordinary timid people would be scared out of their wits and find it difficult to resist such a powerful move. Yang Wu ignored this terrifying scene. He swept out from the silver-patterned tortoise and kicked out continuously. Wind God's kick of the Wind God's wind blade storm. The power of the wind swept out, forming a terrifying storm of sharp blades that crushed the demonic cultivator's attack and enveloped him. So strong. The demonic cultivator panicked when he felt Yang Wu's power. He was at the 7th level of the celestial rune realm, but Yang Wu's attack was easily neutralized and counterattacked. Only then did he realize that Yang Wu's strength was beyond his imagination. "You dare to hunt me with such little strength? Who gave you such courage?" After a month of killing, Yang Wu's baleful aura was incomparably dense. His voice was like thunder, causing the demonic cultivator to retreat. The demonic cultivator was furious. He wasn't even afraid of a Peak Sage Realm expert, but he was actually forced to retreat by a junior. He couldn't keep his old face. You have successfully angered me. I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. The demonic cultivator shouted, and his body underwent a transformation. The power of demonic blood washed over his body. His body grew bigger, and a mass of demonic chi pervaded the air. This was the 9-blood devil technique. Once the demonic technique was activated, his battle strength would rapidly soar. 3rd blood devil kill. The demonic cultivator attacked again, and his battle strength that was comparable to a Peak Sage Realm expert erupted. 3 sword rainbows filled with demonic blood chi slashed at Yang Wu. The demonic sword momentum was filled with dense baleful aura. It broke through layers of space and collided with Yang Wu's wind blades. Rumble rumble! Yang Wu's wind blades were still powerful, and the 3 blood swords were shattered. 4th blood devil kill. 5th blood devil kill. The demonic cultivator was forced to the extreme. He continuously used powerful moves, and the power of his blood devil sword Dao was constantly rising. The blood devil sword Dao erupted, and the blood swords that soared into the sky finally shattered Yang Wu's wind blades. They also slashed towards Yang Wu. The demonic cultivator was able to become a terrifying demonic cultivator because he comprehended his own sword Dao. With his demonic technique, it was not a lie that he could slaughter a Peak Sage Realm expert. However, he could only slaughter a Peak Sage Realm expert who had reached the 10th level of Star Rune boundary. He didn't have the ability to kill a Peak Sage Realm expert who had reached the 11th or 12th level. After Yang Wu felt the demonic cultivator's sword Dao, he no longer used the wind blade. It was a bit difficult to kill the demonic cultivator with just this move. He took out the mysterious phoenix sword and erupted with his own sword Dao and fiercely fought with the demonic cultivator. He used the demonic cultivator as a whetstone. He used 5 star runes to draw 30% of the Star Rune boundary's power, and the power of his slash was enough to be on par with the demonic cultivator. When he drew in 40% of the power of the stars, the power of his sword Dao became extremely terrifying. The sword chi reached 40,000 feet in length, completely shattering the power of the blood demon sword. It left a bone-deep wound on the demon Daoist's body. If the demonic cultivator wasn't wearing a saint armor, this slash would have killed him. The demonic cultivator was horrified. He didn't dare to hold back anymore. The 7th level of his demonic technique erupted, as if he had turned into a powerful demonic cultivator. The majestic blood devil sword Dao also slashed out with all his might. 7th blood devil kill. The omnipresent blood devil sword shadows slashed the surrounding clouds, and the space cracked open again and again. It was as if many terrifying demonic cultivators had appeared. Its power was incomparably shocking. This slash was enough to slaughter a Peak Sage Realm expert. Stars appeared behind Yang Wu's back. Blue flames condensed into the shape of the black tortoise. It roared and screamed. Heaven and earth collapsed, and the stars exploded. Black tortoise sword Dao. A black tortoise with raging flames rushed into the blood devils, and the blood devils were all scattered. It was a one-sided battle. No wonder the king of Hell's palace sent out the king of Hell's decree. It seems like I have to use my trump card. The demonic cultivator thought to himself. He finally used his biggest trump card. Innate skill, demonic blood devouring vine. Chapter 12:14. The demon cultivator's innate divine ability was awakened after refining a variety of demon blood. This innate talent was extremely strange. When it erupted with his bloodline power, countless demon blood formed a patch of demon blood devouring vines that enveloped the world and bound towards Yang Wu. Each demon blood devouring vine was comparable to a top-grade sacred weapon and was extremely tough. If any creature was bound by it, they would definitely be strangled to death. After Yang Wu used the black tortoise sword Dao to break the demon blood sword Dao, he felt the existence of the demon blood devouring vines. The vines filled the world, and he couldn't escape even if he wanted to. This is your ultimate move? Then you'll lose, Yang Wu said contemptuously. The phoenix profound sword kept slashing, cutting off the demon blood-devouring vines. The phoenix profound sword was a top-grade sacred weapon reforged by Little Hay. Could be ranked in the top 100 sacred weapons list. Sacred weapons of the same level couldn't be compared to it. The demon cultivator sneered when he saw Yang Wu cut down the demon blood-devouring vines. Cut to your heart's content. I'll suck your blood dry later. Under Yang Wu's bombardment, many of the demon blood-devouring vines collapsed and turned into strands of demon blood pearls. They drilled towards Yang Wu like bloodworms. When these demon blood pearls stuck to Yang Wu's body, the demonic poison seeped in. Moreover, the demon blood pearls also wanted to seep into his body and devour his bloodline power. The demon cultivator roared, "Nine blood demonic technique." The power of the nine blood demonic technique was that it could devour and refine the bloodline power of other creatures and transform it into its own bloodline power. It was extremely vicious. As expected, I can't underestimate these guys. Yang Wu sighed softly. Blue Demonis swam around his body and burned all the demon blood pearls. It was impossible for them to devour Yang Wu's bloodline power. After all the demon blood pearls were burned clean, the demon cultivator knew that it was impossible for him to take down Yang Wu. He quickly returned to the demonic winged condor and poured all his power into the condor's body. He retreated without hesitation. It's too late to escape now. Yang Wu shouted, and the nether ice-winged blades grew out from his back. Two pairs of wings flapped and created a whirlwind that tore the space apart. In the blink of an eye, he arrived behind the Devil Dao cultivator and slashed down with his sword. No! Puff! Yang Wu's sword was filled with a strong killing intent, and it cut the Devil Dao cultivator and the devil-winged condor into two halves. A ruthless demonic cultivator had fallen. After Yang Wu took away the Devil Dao cultivator's universe object, he once again set out on his journey. At the same time, he had to be Lin Feng of the Stones of the God. Demon Blood God. Yang Wu's gaze landed on a black stone. He felt that this black stone was extraordinary and immediately took it out. Little Hay. What kind of stone is this? Why do I feel that it makes my heart palpitate? Yang Wu asked Xiao He after looking at the black stone and making sure that he couldn't recognize its origin. Little Hay looked at the black stone and said in surprise, "This is a demonic blood divine stone. No wonder that person can cultivate such a powerful demon cultivation art." The demonic blood divine stone was a divine stone that was infused with a large amount of demon god's blood. It contained the demon god's will and could absorb a large amount of demon blood. This demonic blood divine stone was very useful to the demon race. In the hands of the human race, only those who cultivated the demon race's cultivation art could use it. Yang Wu wanted to throw it aside, but Little Hay said, "This is a good thing to temper your soul battle will and bloodline power. You have to use it well." "I can use it?" Yang Wu asked. "Of course. If you hold the demonic blood divine stone and use your soul strength to visualize it, you will be able to manifest the demon god's image. Your soul strength will be able to battle with the demon god's image. This is the best divine item to temper your soul strength." Little Hay explained. "Your bloodline power seems to have reached the ancestral awakening realm, but it's still not enough. The demonic blood chi in this demonic blood divine stone can further stimulate your bloodline power. It's a pity that this demonic blood divine stone is too small. I don't know how many more times you can use it." Yang Wu was enlightened. He didn't think that the demonic blood divine stone would be beneficial to him. However, now was not the time to use the demonic blood divine stone. Who knew when the demon Dao would come to kill him? Sure enough, 2 days later, a group of fiendish people came to kill him. However, these fiendish people were the same as the demon Dao people. They had underestimated Yang Wu's battle prowess. Most of them were killed by Yang Wu. A small number were left for the silver-patterned tortoise to train, but they were all killed by the silver-patterned tortoise. After Yang Wu killed a few batches of invaders, these Demon Dao people didn't dare to act rashly. There was a leader of the Demon Dao called Evil Child in the direction Yang Wu was heading. He had gathered a large number of Demon Dao people. Evil Child was a leader of the Demon Dao people who had risen to power less than 200 years ago. He was as tall as a dwarf, and his face was like a baby's. He liked to devour babies and use the innate chi of babies to cultivate. He would always be like a child, possessing an extremely powerful and terrifying strength. Evil Child had reached the 11th level of the Astral Mark realm and was a top-notch saint. He sat cross-legged on the peak of a mountain and was one with heaven and earth. It was difficult to detect his existence. A saint rode on a black Tyrannosaurus Rex and rushed over. This saint wore black battle armor and held a trident sacred weapon. His entire body was surging with a murderous aura. He was the famous Blood Shura, and was also a top-notch saint who wasn't inferior to Evil Child. When Blood Shura landed, two more figures appeared at the same time in another direction. Dark Demon and Evil Witch. They were a man and a woman. They were extremely ugly and had a string of skulls hanging from their necks. It was obvious that they were people who killed people like flies. In addition, there was a man as tall as an iron tower striding over. He carried a huge mace and was surrounded by a murderous aura. He gave off a feeling that strangers shouldn't get close to him. Hee, Evil Child, don't you think you're making a mountain out of a molehill by calling us over to hunt down Yang Wu? Dark Demon sneered with a hunched body. Blood Shura answered first. The Demon Dao people are already dead. He's worth us working together to kill. Once the King of Hell's order is out, the person who gives the order must be killed, Evil Child shouted coldly. Among these people, only Evil Child had already joined the King of Hell's palace. The others hadn't. There's only one person. If we work together to kill him, can we all join the King of Hell's palace? The man as tall as an iron tower asked in a booming voice. Yes, if we work together to kill the enemy, can we join the King of Hell's palace? Evil Witch also asked. Their realms were very high. They were powerful people who could establish their own sections. The reason why they insisted on joining the King of Hell's palace was not to obtain the protection of the King of Hell's palace. Instead, they hoped to obtain a higher-level mystic formula from the King of Hell's palace so that they could break through the Jade Moon realm and reach the Heaven-reaching realm. If they didn't reach the Heaven-reaching realm, there would be a day when they reached the Heaven-reaching realm. Only the King of Hell's palace had the evil demon mystic formula for the Heaven-reaching realm. It was almost impossible to find it anywhere else. The King of Hell's order is supreme. If you work together to kill Yang Wu, you can naturally join the King of Hell's palace, Evil Child replied with a baby-like voice. All right, then we'll work together to kill him, the man as tall as an iron tower. His name was Gao Shanyan. His body contained the bloodline power of the demon clan. He was very powerful and temperamental. Evil Child, Blood Shura, Dark Demon Evil Witch and her husband, and Gao Shanyan were a total of 5 top saints. With such a lineup, it would be easy for them to destroy a top second-rate force. Even a normal first-rate force might not be able to stop them. The 5 of them and their subordinates were all summoned. They went to the border of Kunlun's field to kill Yang Wu. Along the way, Yang Wu fought no less than 10 bloody battles. He killed no less than 100 saints of the demonic path. His combat power was steadily increasing. Without the help of the heaven-reaching divine weapon, he could easily fight a saint at the pinnacle. His way of the spear and way of the sword continued to improve. The power of conception that burst out produced many different changes. This was the true manifestation of his way of the spear and way of the sword. Yang Wu sat cross-legged on the silver-patterned turtle and absorbed the power of the stars. The power that he consumed was quickly replenished. The silver-patterned turtle also took the opportunity to devour the power of the stars and strengthen the power of the demon core. Yang Wu was improving, and so was the silver-patterned turtle. Soaking in the second-grade celestial liquid, even an ordinary spiritual demon could quickly grow. We're almost at Kunlun's Field's Thunder Mountain. Yang Wu looked at the vast mountains in the distance. His vision was open and he was in a good mood. He had gained a lot from the continuous battles, and he was in a good mood. News of you has been spreading. There will be more people coming to kill you. Even if there are no reaching heaven-reaching realm, there will definitely be those who are half a step to reaching heaven-reaching realm. They might even come with divine weapons. Don't fail miserably, Little Hay reminded him. I really want to fight with a reaching heaven-reaching realm, Yang Wu said with a look of longing. When you come out of Thunder Mountain, there will definitely be such opponents, Little Hay said with certainty. I hope so too. Yang Wu sighed softly. After a pause, he asked, do you think I can make divine pills now? With your current ability, you're still far from being able to make divine pills. No way. I can make divine pills before reaching Saint Realm. Now that I'm in Saint Realm, will it be difficult for me to make divine pills? Don't think that making divine pills is as easy as making divine pills. If you don't have divine intent, you won't be able to control the medicinal properties of divine herbs. You won't be able to make divine pills at all. Give up for now. What is divine intent? When your soul reaches God realm, you'll naturally understand what it is. Okay, I'll try to reach godly soul realm as soon as possible. As they chatted, they finally entered Kunlun's Field. Yang Wu stopped talking with Little Hay. He sensed that there were many powerful auras locking onto him. When Yang Wu saw the figures appearing from all directions, he couldn't help but sigh softly. They really think highly of me. So many saints have come at once. Once the Yama's decree was issued, the one who gave it must be killed. Chapter 12:15. On the peak of a majestic mountain, Evil Child, Blood Shura, Dark Demon Witch, and Gao Shanyan stood in the air, looking at the battlefield in the distance. The battlefield ahead was where their elite subordinates were. There were close to 100 saints, and they had prepared all kinds of high-level saint weapons to deal with Yang Wu. If Yang Wu can even pass this, we'll work together to take him down, Evil Child said. No matter how strong he is, he won't be able to pass this. We might not be able to pass this alone, Blood Shura said from the side. He's not even 30 years old, but he already has such abnormal strength. He's comparable to the remnants of the ancient times. Even in the ancient times, he would probably be a domineering figure. It's a pity that he rejected the king of Hell's palace. Only death awaits him. Yang Wu sensed the ambush ahead. He did not change his direction and continued forward. He transmitted his voice to Little Hay. Take care of Little Silver. Don't let anything happen to him. All right. As long as you can deal with them, you don't have to worry about anything else, Little Hay replied. Many demonic saints flew out. Someone shouted, set up the inescapable net. As soon as the voice was heard, a huge net descended from the sky, shrouding Yang Wu's position. The net seemed to be able to expand infinitely, enveloping the entire space. No one could escape from it. After Yang Wu saw the net, the mysterious phoenix sword appeared in his hand. He slashed out a shocking sword across the sky. Whoosh! Lan Yaoji was attached to the sword Qi. She slashed out an extremely sharp sword, wanting to break the huge net. However, the giant net's toughness was beyond his expectations. His sword could not cut through the net at all. A demonic saint laughed wildly. This is the heaven-catching net, ranked 33rd on the divine weapon ranking. It's not that easy to break it. The top 100 divine weapons on the divine weapon ranking all had extraordinary abilities. They were not as powerful as divine weapons, but they were comparable to divine weapons. The heaven-capturing net had been infused with the toughest heaven gold silk and profound gold divine stone. It was a top-notch sacred weapon, and even a half-step divine weapon might not be able to break it. Not many people knew that the heaven-capturing net had fallen into the hands of the demonic path. Otherwise, it would have caused a reign of terror. The heaven-capturing net was the best sacred tool for capturing enemies. Once it appeared, it meant that the target would have no way to escape. It could grow infinitely, and it could bind the space of an area. Even a fly would not be able to escape from its grasp. Yang Wu knew about the saint weapon ranking and had also read some records about it. He knew about the existence of the heaven-capturing net, but he never thought that someone would bring such a heavy weapon to deal with him. He thought to himself, it's such a pity to destroy it. Then, he transmitted his voice to Little Hay. Little Hay, keep it for me. I don't want to destroy it. If you want to take it yourself. Little Hay did not care about these things at all. It could even forge divine weapons, so what was a holy weapon to it? Yang Wu had no other choice. He could only quickly retreat, not wanting to be caught by the heaven-capturing net. Unfortunately, no matter how fast he was, he could not escape the heaven-capturing net. While Yang Wu was bound, wave after wave of attacks came at him. Boom! Boom! The sabers, spears, and swords all contained powerful offensive power, and they wanted to smash Yang Wu into smithereens. Yang Wu's black tortoise armor appeared, and its powerful defensive power blocked these attacks. It was almost impossible for anyone who was not at least a half-step into the heavenly ascension realm to injure him. He was willing to endure these attacks not only because he did not want to destroy the heaven-capturing net, but also because he wanted to hone his defensive skills. He hoped that the defensive power of his defensive power could be like the Taiji fist, where he could borrow force to attack force, and use the weak to defeat the strong. The black tortoise armor was like the 8 trigrams array, and the defensive power was very similar to the Taiji fist Dao. Yang Wu had already comprehended a little of the Taiji fist Dao, and together with the armor, he could indeed make the defensive power even stronger. More than 10 sages attacked Yang Wu, and they thought that even a top-tier sage could kill him. The people standing on the mountain peak in the distance were all puzzled. Was Yang Wu killed just like that? They felt that it was not very possible. As the saying went, a person with a great reputation lived up to his name. If Yang Wu could be killed so easily, they would not have gathered here. All right, stop attacking. He must have been killed. The sage controlling the heaven-capturing net shouted loudly. The other sages stopped their attacks one after another. Before these forces dissipated, 2 formless forces shot out. Netherworld ice-winged blades. 2 pairs of netherworld ice-winged blades, and 4 wings, slashed at the sages around them. The first to be slashed was the sage holding the heaven-capturing net. Just as he finished speaking, he felt a chill on his neck, and his head was separated from his body. The other sages did not expect an invisible attack to come at them, and several sages were slashed in half. What's going on? Does he still have companions? Not good, it's an invisible attack. Everyone, be careful. Yang Wu is not dead yet. He's going to take the heaven-capturing net. Kill him quickly. Some of the sages who were not killed panicked. After seeing more than 10 sages being killed in an instant, they hurriedly activated their senses to the maximum and activated their defensive power to the maximum to avoid being killed by the hidden attack. At this moment, Yang Wu had already broken free from the heaven-capturing net that no one was controlling. He kept it in his hand and smiled. I didn't expect to get a sage artifact on the sage artifact ranking so easily. Yang Wu did not want to be entangled with these sages, and continued to control the netherworld ice-winged blades to kill in all directions. The netherworld ice-winged blades were comparable to a top-grade sage artifact, and they also contained a chilling aura. It was not something that any sage could withstand. A sage wearing a high-grade sage armor was also slashed in half at the waist. He died with his eyes wide open. One of the sages reacted very quickly. He waved the sage artifact in his hand and released a powerful attack that affected the surrounding environment. He wanted to find the hidden Netherworld ice-winged blades, but the Netherworld ice-winged blades still forcefully broke through his attack and took away his life. The invisible attack was impossible to guard against, and these sages were all caught off guard. They were all trembling with fear and were in a dilemma. Fortunately, one of the sages had a secret technique. He shouted, "All of you, get out of the way. Wait for me to break this invisible attack." The next moment, he raised an item in his hand. Then, blood-red light splattered in all directions, and this part of the world was dyed into a hazy blood aura. After the Netherworld ice-winged blades came into contact with the blood aura, a trace of blood shadow appeared. They were no longer invisible. "They're over there. Destroy them," that sage shouted as he pointed at the Netherworld ice-winged blades. "So what if I've been discovered by you? I'll still die," Yang Wu said indifferently. He still controlled the Netherworld ice-winged blades as usual, forcing the sages to use their trump cards to block him. They hoped to destroy the Netherworld ice-winged blades. None of these demonic sages were weak. They had committed all kinds of evil and obtained a lot of ill-gotten wealth. Each of them had their own means, but unfortunately, there were not many who could take out a sage artifact that was comparable to the Netherworld ice-winged blade. Fortunately, they reacted quickly. A dozen of them worked together to hold back the Netherworld ice-winged blades, while the others launched a fierce attack on Yang Wu again. "If we don't kill him, we'll be the ones to die. Everyone, don't hold back anymore," a sage shouted. At this moment, these sages activated their strongest combat strength. They must kill Yang Wu. Evil Bell Suppression. Centipede Soul Devouring. Illusory Ice Destruction. A sage came down with an evil bell in his hand. Boundless evil chi formed the appearance of monsters, bringing terrifying pressure to the opponent. There was also a sage who threw out a centipede. This was a centipede that contained a strange poison. It was an evil guy that grew by devouring the power of souls. There was also an illusory ice falling down from the sky. Its target was Yang Wu. The other sages' attacks were not weak. When they worked together, even a top-level sage might not be able to withstand it. Yang Wu had cultivated hard for a month. His body was tempered by the power of the stars. His physical body had reached the level of a top-level sage. His 5 senses were extremely abnormal. These attacks became incomparably slow in his eyes. They were not worth mentioning at all. He held the heaven-catching net in one hand and the double-edged triple dragon spear in the other. He took ghostly steps and rushed through these attacks. The spear turned into a black tortoise and took the initiative to challenge the armor of one of the sages. It shattered his internal organs and killed him on the spot. The battle spear turned into a dragon snake swinging. The sage next to him did not react in time. He was hit in the face and his head shattered. Yang Wu was like a wolf in a flock of sheep. These sages were no match for him at all. On the mountain peak, Evil Child, Blood Shura, and the others all looked shocked. If it were any of them, they would not be able to slaughter these sages like chickens and dogs. "We can't wait any longer. His combat strength is no less than ours. We have to kill him quickly. Otherwise, we'll suffer great losses," Blood Shura shouted. Without waiting for Evil Child's order, Blood Shura took the lead and rushed in the direction of Yang Wu. Dark Demon Evil Woman and Gao Shanyan also rushed out. The pressure that Yang Wu brought to them was too great. Taking advantage of the fact that Yang Wu was pinned down, they had to kill Yang Wu in one blow. Blood Shura pulled out the crimson blade on his back, and the shadow of Shura appeared behind him. His crimson blade slashed out, and the way of Shura condensed into the Shura Hell. It slashed at Yang Wu with terrifying power. This was the power of a top-notch sage. The power of the stars descended like the power of a rainbow bridge. The torrential saber light broke through the sky with endless power. Dark Demon Evil Woman joined forces to attack. They cultivated the art of combined attack. The double claw technique turned into a field. Countless claw lights tore through the world. Gao Shanyan's arms burst with endless power. He waved his mace and smashed it down with great force. It was as if he could smash a mountain range into pieces. The combat strength of the top-notch sages around them was too powerful. They had martial arts, art of combined attack, and innate power. The destructive power caused by their simultaneous attacks was too terrifying. The sages who were still attacking Yang Wu were so frightened that they quickly retreated. They were afraid that they would be affected. Yang Wu also felt the sudden attack. There was no trace of panic on his face. He sneered and said, "I was waiting for you to come together. Black Tortoise's clone,